Shalom, shalom alechem. Shalom, mishpacha wa chaverim. All right, so what's happening? What's happening? We're going to let the people come in. We're going to let the people take their time to come in, do their thing, get their drinks, get their snacks, get their food, right? So shalom, shalom to those who are coming in. Shalom, shalom to those who are going to watch now live and those who are going to watch the replay of the broadcast later. I want to say, Ani mechaveh shechulachem osim tov umevorachim hayom. I hope y'all are good. I hope y'all are doing good and blessed today, right? Hope y'all doing good and blessed today. Another Torah Tittles of the text. Another Torah Tittles of the text. This is going to be good. This is going to be exciting. This is going to be edifying and liberating. And most importantly, to Yahweh through his son Yeshua be the glory, the praise, and all of the honor. All right. So y'all come on in, come on in, come on in. Right. The title for today's lesson, hopefully it's not too long. The title for today is Can Israelite women initiate divorce? Again, can Israelite women initiate divorce? So when I say Israel, I am talking about one who wrestles, strives, prevails, reigns, rules with Elohim, the Lord God of Israel. Right? So ko tehelim ko kabod wahatiferet leYahweh Avinu Eloheinu. All praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, our Father, our deity, our power, our mighty one, our Elohim. So shalom to those who are coming in. We're not going to be too long, but we hope to be allowed to bring some things to you, share some things with you that the Most High has allowed us to conclude and to come to soundness in. So me and my brother BA, we gonna get it in. Can Israelite women initiate divorce? Another Torah Tittles of the text. So I'm streaming live on my Facebook as Shan-DoC. I am also streaming on my YouTube channel 916 Shan. I am also streaming on Debate Talk for You. So please like, subscribe, and share, right? Please share this. Please like, please subscribe, and please share. Share this on your Facebook, share this on Instagram, share this on your YouTube. Everywhere you can share it, go ahead and share it. So since we are streaming live on Debate Talk for You, I have to give the brand disclaimer. Shalom, Sister Katrina. Glad to have you here. Brand disclaimer for Debate Talk for You. The views and opinions expressed by individuals on this platform, the callers plus the invited guests, are their own. The information you hear does not reflect the overall views of all parties associated with this brand. We encourage everyone to research all things heard live via archive for edification purposes. Discretion is advised. All right. Shalom, shalom, Saya, shalom. Beloved family, thank you for listening. Thank you for joining in. To the Most High be the glory. So, shalom, mishpacha wa chaverim. Ani mechaveh shechulachem osim tov umevorach hayom. I hope y'all are doing good and blessed today. Mashalomcha, mashalomcha, Sister Courtney. How y'all doing? How y'all doing? Good, 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 good. All right. So, this lesson was inspired definitely by the Most High and the love of the Most High and the love of the Most High's people. I have had people reach out to me. Shalom, Brother Mark. Glad to have you here. Blessings. Peace, peace. I have been reached out to, and because of what I do, because of what BA does, we get asked questions all the time. People want to know what our take is, what our view is on certain topics and subjects from the Bible. And since I am one to be known to go into the language, the original languages of the Bible, people ask me or inquire of me of different subjects and topics, right? And so they know I look at the language, they know I look at the idioms, the slang, the euphemisms, the phraseology in the text, in the Bible, in the language. So with this being said, there are some troubling situations that I hear in the Israelite community. Shalom, shalom, his princess. Shalom. There are some disparaging things I hear in the Israelite community. And a lot of things come from a misogynistic worldview, preconceived bias, especially from people being brought up here in American culture. We are in America. I'm in Sacramento, California, United States of America, right? So with people going back into what they call the awakening, or people waking up to the Hebraic roots of their faith, they what people do, what people tend to do, some people tend to do, is take how they've been raised, been brought up, their biases, their preconceived notion and worldviews. They take that and then they try to actually place that into the Bible. They try to put things into the Bible, right? And so you go to certain passages and they start to be misconstrued. And one of the passages that gets misconstrued is that, uh, it says, well, let me just say it like this. A lot of people say, well, a woman who calls herself an Israelite, a woman who calls herself he who wrestles, prevails, reigns, and rules with Elohim cannot initiate a divorce, because over in Deuteronomy 24, it says when a man divorces, right? So we're going to look at proper context. I encourage people to go back and take everything we're bringing here to the Lord God of Israel in prayer and supplication and meditation, and ask for a sound conclusion, right? And so a lot of times we shouldn't even have to have this conversation. We live in America, like I said, we live in America, and I'm in California. Over here in the United States of America, the government does not the government does not acknowledge or say that the Torah, the written Torah, supersedes the laws of the land here, right? The government does not say, okay, the civil laws of the land over here are superseded by written Torah. No, that's not what this government says today, right? Not at all. So I shouldn't even me and BA shouldn't even have to do this. We should not even have to answer this question, right? The civil laws of the land here in America trump everything right now. We can still follow the written Torah, the applicable parts of the written Torah. However, to try to say the written Torah supersedes the civil laws of the land that we live in right now, that is not the case. So some people who come into this awakening, what they call it, right, or the Hebraic roots of their faith, they go to Deuteronomy 24, and some of the brothers and some of the sisters, they say, well, a woman can't initiate divorce. You can't initiate divorce, right? They'll say, you can't initiate divorce. I got to do it. I got to do it. I'm the man. I'm the man, and I run things. I rule things. And I call the shots. You gotta follow me and obey me. So therefore, you leave when I say you can leave. And if I say you can't leave, you can't leave. And it just be a whole bunch of abusive situations a lot of times. I'm not talking about just verbal, mental, emotional and spiritual abuse. I'm talking about physical abuse too. A lot of people say, okay, well, if the man physically abusing the woman, or if a woman is physically abusing a man, that divorce is not allowed unless the man say so, because they're misconstruing the passage in Deuteronomy 24. That's why we're going to take a look at this today. Now, that's why I said share this, share. Will y'all allow calls? And no, we will not allow calls. This is a lesson. If you do have questions or comments or concerns, you can put them in the chat. If we have time to get to them today in this lesson, possibly we will. However, if there is a question that you'd like to ask, or if there's something you'd like to interject, you can actually email me at duckanddodge1@gmail.com, or you can put after this live gets uploaded, you can put your question in the comments section, right? So I'll post my email. I'll post my email. So my email is duckandodge1@gmail.com, right? So we ask that you just, before you try to refute anything or dispute anything, just take a listen to what we're bringing out, right? Now, when I say the question, can an Israelite woman initiate divorce? I mean, can she begin the process? Can she begin the process? The answer is yes, she can begin the process. And we're going to show you how, and we're going to show you why. We're going to show you all the stipulations to corroborate our answer of yes. Oh, an Israelite woman, right, can initiate or begin the process of divorce, right? So with that being said, shalom, Sister Danae. Shalom, Sister Regina. How y'all doing? See, I have the StreamYard here to the left. I have the StreamYard here to the left. All right. So with that being said, we're gonna get things started. My brother BA, I'm gonna have him read. I'm gonna have him read, of course, and you know how we do. Why? All right. So can y'all see the screen? Shalom, brother Vinny D. Shalom, sis Stacy. Shalom. Can you see the screen, BA? All right. So BA, if you unmute,
zooming in a tad bit more though.
Oh, we're gonna zoom in a lot more. I just have him sit right here.
Yeah, I ain't ready to wear my glasses live on camera yet, man. You know what I'm saying? kids making fun of me.
I got
you. Yeah, I'll probably pull them out next lesson. Still get used to wearing them.
You gonna pull them out next lesson?
Yeah.
He said, I'm gonna pull them out next lesson. That is so funny. All right, so we're gonna start with Deuteronomy chapter 24, and I'm gonna have BA read verses 1-4. However, we're gonna focus on just a couple of verses, right? So go ahead, BA, Deuteronomy chapter 24. This is the ESV, the English Standard Version. I'm going to have BA read, and then I'll read a little bit of the Hebrew and a little bit of the Greek when we go into the Greek, right? So Deuteronomy 24, verses 1-4, BA, please go ahead. And shalom, brother Ernest Higgs. Thank y'all for coming in.
Most deaf. Deuteronomy chapter 24, we're going to pick up at verse 1. When a man takes a wife and marries her, if then she finds no favor in his eyes, because he has found some indecency in her, and he writes her a certificate of divorce and puts it in her hand and sends her out of his house, and she departs out of his home, his house rather. Verse 2. And if she goes and becomes another man's wife, and the latter man hates her and writes her a certificate of divorce and puts it in her hand and sends her out of his house, or if the latter man dies who took her to be his wife, then her former husband who sent her away may not take her again to be his wife after she has been defiled, for that is an abomination before the Lord, and you shall not bring sin upon the land that the Lord your God is given for you an inheritance.
Right. So we're going to focus on verses 1 and 2 here. So when a man takes a wife and marries her, if this woman finds no grace, no chen, in the eyes of that man, right? Because he's found some indecency in her. Now we're going to look at indecency, right? The man has found some sort of what you call indecency, right, in her, and writes her a certificate of divorce, puts it in her hand, and sends her out of his house, and she departs out of his house, right? So there's a few things that's going on here. So this right here, this passage right here, Deuteronomy chapter 24, verses 1 to 4, a lot of people read it. You know, it don't matter what version they read it in. Well, it do matter, but if you read it in the Hebrew, you can get a tad bit more understanding. But reading comprehension is a skill that some people lack. Sister Regina, shalom. Sister Wendy, shalom. Brother Jason, shalom. So a lot of people go here and say, well, this says the man can only divorce the wife. It doesn't say here that the wife can divorce the husband. Well, I'm going to posit this here. What this passage is saying is that the male, the man, the husband of the relationship is responsible for the paperwork. That's pretty much what it's saying. It's saying the husband is responsible to file the paperwork. The woman don't have to do the paperwork. This is called extreme protection of the woman. Extreme protection of the woman, right? And if the male has to file the paperwork, then we should know there is a just due judicial process in Israel. I think we tend to forget that Israel had judges and a whole court system, right? Where you had lawyers, judges, and witnesses who went through a whole process, right? And decided things according to what was written, decided what rewards or punishment, deciding what things would happen when somebody disobeys the law or when somebody obeys the law, right? So this just means that the male, the husband, is to file the paperwork. That's all this means. And there's a just due judicial process. There are legalities involved. Anytime you have instructions, written Torah, law, there's a judicial process. These things are going on in court. Like over here in America, we have what you call the court, right? You got lawyers, judges, the jury for the jury. Then you have witnesses, witnesses who come, witnesses who give their accounts of what they evidence or seen, right? And also you have what you call I'm getting a loss for words here. What you call a whole process to be done, right? You have legal filing of paperwork. You have legal filing of paperwork, and legal filing of paperwork is always housed in places of law, right? Over here in Sacramento, and probably where you all stay, you have a county clerk recorder office, right? When I got legally married, I had to go down to the county clerk recorder office, fill out the application, give my information, put my right hand up, pay the money, and they told me and my husband pretty much to go do these just due processes. They was like, okay, you have to you doing this first step right here, coming to the county clerk recorder office. Then you got to go get you a ceremony, and you have to have a ceremony by a person who is legally able to officiate, whether that be a pastor, a rabbi, whoever, right? Then you have to bring that signed document back to the county clerk recorder office, and then that license pretty much becomes a certificate. So these things are these documents are housed. They are housed in the places of law. Same with Israel. A lot of people don't understand. These are real people. These are real people, right? And just because there is not everything verbatim written in the Bible, people think stuff didn't happen. Do you think the people of Israel didn't brush their teeth? Do you think the people of Israel did not have some sort of dental hygiene? They had some sort of dental hygiene. It's just not verbatim written here in the text, right? So a lot of times we don't understand there's ketubah. There's ketubah, right? There's written documents. A ketubah is a marital contract that lists out what the male is bringing to the table, what the female is bringing to the table, what they're going to do, what they're not going to do, the payments, the material properties and everything like that. Everything is written down. There's like several ketubah, or there's several ketuvim in one ketubah, right? There's like several documents that go with one document. Like, say for example, okay, well, I brought to the table this amount for a dowry. I also brought this couch. I also bought these tunics right here, you know. And my father gave me this property. Maybe that's one ketuvah, right? And then another ketuvah says, okay, well, my children, you know, when my husband dies, my children are going to get this house because my father said so. You know, shalom anan, right? So we're going to look at indecency, what indecency means, and we're going to look at the words for certificate of divorce, and we're also going to look at what it means to send her out of his house, right? To send her out of his house, right? So Deuteronomy 24, let me make that a little bit bigger. So Deuteronomy, we're really going to focus on verse 1. Let me make that a little bigger.
But one thing that you said about the ketubah, right? I think that's why a lot of people say sex is marriage. They can bypass all that. That's what's very interesting. You know what I'm saying? Because if you don't got nothing written down to document it,
right,
then you can deal with the sister or whoever you're dealing with any old kind of way you want to.
Any old kind of way. And we gonna see that the Most High did not let the daughters be dealt with any old kind of way. See, a lot of people think the text is misogynistic. It's not. It's actually a lot of extreme protection for the woman. This is extreme protection of the woman, and we're gonna show that today. Shalom. Hey, that's my Moray right there. D. Glenn Royal. Moray David Royal. Y'all please go subscribe to that man's channel, D. Glenn Royal. Right? It's up on there. Yep. So, yeah, ancient footprints. You got legal documentation, right? So Deuteronomy 24, and bear with me. Ki yichak ish isha uve'ala v'chaya im lo timzachein be'ena ki matzaba ervat. Remember that key word, ervat. That's the word for indecency, ervat, right? Ervat dabar wekatab la sefer keritut. We're going to look at this word keritut, right? We natan beyada we shelacha, and we're going to look at this word shalach. We shelacha, right? Bebeto. So pretty much that's when a man has taken a wife and married her, and there becomes, if not some sort of and there is or arises and if there is not a founding of favor, if there's not a founding of favor in his eyes, and because he has found in her some sort of indecency, ervat, right? Some sort of indecency, some sort of indecent dabar, matter or thing, right? Wekatab. And he shall write la to her, sefer, a scroll, right? Keritut, a scroll of divorce, a writ or scroll of divorce, right? Lenatan, and shall put it beyada in her hand, weshelacha, and send her away, mibeto, from his house, right? So there's two different things going on here, right? There's a difference here. I'm gonna show between keritut, divorce, and what is shalach. I'm gonna show you there's a difference between divorce and sending away. Keritut is divorce, shalach, sending away. Right? Shalom, Sister Gail. Shalom, Sister Gail. Shalom, Sister Tirsa. That's what's up. I can't really see all the comments. Oh, y'all, but go ahead, y'all get it in the chat. All right. So, in the New Testament, the equivalent for keritut or divorce would be the word apostasion. apostasion, right? And the equivalent in the New Testament for the word sending away, that would be apalio. Apalio. Now, I'm gonna tell y'all this. We're gonna set some premises here, then we're gonna look at some receipts. Right? I'm gonna say this. Shalak, in this sense, is sending away or separating without divorce papers. It is separating or sending out without divorce papers. Right? And my more is here, so my more can correct me. Right? And keditut is it's the lawful establishment, or excuse me, it's the lawful disestablishment of a marriage contract accomplished by a written bill of divorce. Those are the differences. Now, I hope y'all caught that. Sending away, or shalak, is separating without some sort of written document. Keditut is the lawful disestablishment of the marriage contract with a written document of divorce. With a written document of divorce. Right? That's what's going on here. Remember, I'm just saying, this passage here, it just says the male, the husband, is the one responsible for the paperwork. That's all this is saying. All this is saying is that the husband is the one responsible for the paperwork. But y'all gonna see some things in a minute, right? We're also gonna talk about this, Matthew 19. We gotta bring this up. We gotta bring this up, BA, right? Matthew 19. Verses 3 to 9. Let's read these first. And I'm gonna make it bigger for you, BA. Right? So read verses. This is Matthew chapter 19. This is the ESV, English Standard Version. We're going to take our time with this today, right? English Standard Version. We're going to read Matthew verses 19, Matthew chapter 19, verses 3 to 9. So let me make this bigger here.
You said 3 through 9?
Can you see that? Oh, wait. Am I sharing my screen?
Yeah, I can see it. You said start at 3, verse 3?
Yeah, start at verse 3. We just going to work our way up just a little bit. Matthew chapter 19, verses 3 to 9.
All right, let's get to it. And the Pharisees came up to him and tested him by asking. Notice the Pharisees.
Mm-hmm.
That's very key here. Pay attention and remember that, right? And the Pharisees came up to him and tested him by asking, is it lawful to divorce one wife for any cause? Mm-hmm. He answered, have you not read that he who created them from the beginning made them male and female? Verse 5. And said, therefore a man shall leave his father and his mother and hold fast to his wife, and the two shall become one flesh. So they are no longer two, but one flesh. What therefore God has joined together, let no man separate. Verse 7. They said to him, why then did Moses command one to give a certificate of divorce and to send her away? He said to them, because of your hardness of your heart, Moses allows you to divorce your wives, but from the beginning it was not so. And I say to you, whosoever divorces his wife, except for sins, for sexual immorality, and marries another, commits adultery.
So read verse 9 again, BA.
One more time. And I say to you, whosoever divorces his wife, except for a sexual immorality, and marries another, commits adultery.
Thank you. Shalom, Sister Brandy. Thank you for joining in. All right. So this is Yeshua being tested by the Pharisee. right? The perushim, right? So back up here, they're asking, is it lawful to divorce one's wife for any cause? Now that's because of this. I got to show y'all. I
Go
told
to the
y'all.
mission.
Oh yeah, we're going to the Mishnah. We're going to the Talmud, which consists of the Mishnah, Gemara, and
Here's,
the
and I can
commentary.
back my sister up because I got mine right here.
Hallelujah.
So what section? What part?
90a.
Is that get it? Is that get 10? Get it
It
10,
is.
98?
Yeah, get in. Because the Hebrew word for divorce is get. So this is a section in the Talmud about the laws on divorce. Right? Now, during this time in the first century CE, you had different schools of thought. You had the Pharisees, right, which were not all the same. You had different Pharisees who were taught by different teachers, correct? So during this time, first century CE, you had the school of Hillel, right? So the Pharisees were either of the school of Hillel or either of Rabbi Shammai, right? So you either had the school of Hillel or you had the school of Shammai. Now, a lot of times the Pharisees were trying to trip the Messiah up because they were asking things that had to do with their oral law, what you call the tradition of the elders, right? So the question that the Pharisees are asking, is it lawful? Is it lawful to do that, right? I'm going to read this first and then I'm going to go to the Greek. So this is Talmud Gittin 90a, and you can get this this PDF here. You can get the whole Babylonian Talmud from online, halakha.com. Shalom, Sister Tracy, halakha.com. Right? Watch this. Mishnah or halakha. Halakha comes from the word halak, which means the way to walk, the way to carry something out, the way to do something, right? So this is the oral law, right? Mishnah says, Bet Shammai say, a man should not divorce his wife unless he has found her guilty of some unseemly conduct, as it says, because he hath found some unseemly thing in her. They're going back to Deuteronomy 24, right? Bet Hillel, however, say that he may divorce her, even if she has merely spoilt his food, since it says, because he hath found some unseemly thing in her. Rabbi Akiva says he may divorce her even if he finds another woman more beautiful than she is, as it says, it cometh to pass if she find no favor in his eyes. Now, I want to say a couple of things. Bet Hillel was more of the liberal, so to speak, rabbi, and Shammai seemed to be more of the conservative, more strict. However, Bet Hillel here, given the reason, is saying, hey, you can divorce your wife for anything, even if she merely spoiled your food, if she burnt your food, you know. And then this Rabbi Akiva say, hey, you find another woman more prettier, more beautiful, more fair, go ahead and get her. This is the tradition of the elders. Now, like I say, sometimes traditions are not bad, but sometimes traditions are bad if they go against what is written in the Torah. Right? If they go against what's written in the Torah. You get that? So all traditions are not bad, but if the tradition goes against the written Torah, pretty much is nullifying the written Torah. That's what Yeshua had said to the Pharisees. Matthew 23.
And we got to remember, you know what I'm saying, the master Yeshua, he was very well aware of the traditions of the elders. Very well aware. He lived amongst his people. He understood what was going on socially because he was there amongst them. So this is not nothing new. Like I said before, you had back then in those days, you had what we would call, what would they would say, a high context culture.
Mm-hmm.
And in this day and age we live in, we are a low context culture. It's not common for us to be socially aware of what's going on in the text. What we just did was we looked into the text, we examined, and we understand that it was the Pharisees that came to the master and brought something to him. But see, the master also was aware of their ways and their traditions that they kept. So overall, halakha, or the way or the walk, or also the way to protect the Torah, it also means that as well. These traditions, these interpretations from these different schools of thought, rather be Hillel or Shammai, they had the popular influence on the people. So now people are being persuaded to only listen to the doctrines of the interpretations of these scholars, of these teachers of the law, which are the Pharisees. That was very common. This is nothing new. It may be new to this community that we deal with online today, but this is very prevalent back in those days. The oral tradition had just as much influence as the Torah did. And unfortunately, a lot of the scribes slightly put the oral traditions above the Torah. Just wanted to share that.
Thank you, BA. That need to be brought out. Right? Now I will say this about the Talmud. It is historical information. It is showing the perspective and the mindset and the thought process of our ancestors. And when I say our ancestors, I mean us. Me and BA get asked all the time, and some other people that we know, right, get asked, hey, did the Ashkenazi come up with the oral Torah and then codify it?
These are your ancestors who made this stuff up.
Come on, BA.
But we're always talking about we need to come back to our culture. We need to come back to the ways that we once had. Then when we start dealing with the stuff that our ancestors once had, now they don't want to deal with it.
Right.
They get mad, they have a little piss fit, and they get upset. Because a lot of their doctrine comes from this stuff. It comes from it. And then we show that there's a lot of Torah. Now all of a sudden something's wrong with us. But I thought it was okay to understand the culture and the history of your ancestors.
Bring it out, BA.
Just wanted to say that. Go ahead, sis. Go
no,
ahead.
you good. You better come on in. You know what I'm saying? You better come on in. See, you have Ezra and Nehemiah coming out of Babylonian captivity, starting what you call reforms to the written Torah. And they just started coming up and adding stuff, and then it turns into the great men of the assembly. Now, I'm not saying that we shouldn't come up with certain laws and rules and regulations as the years go by. We have to, we have to make sure there are standards or rules of measure for things to live by. We have to specify things, right? But they have to still be in accordance. They still have to be in accordance with the written Torah, right? So you got Ezra and Nehemiah. They give way to what is called the great men of the assembly. They start adding more things that are totally outside of the written Torah and don't go in line with what's in the Torah. And when I say Torah, I mean Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, and Deuteronomy, right? Then during the time of 2nd and 1st century CE, during the time of the Maccabees, right, you have the Pharisees now, the Perushim, the pious ones, right? They start adding what you call the fence laws, which are known as the oral laws. Sometimes their oral laws go way against what's in the written Torah, right? So we always calling ourselves the people of the book. We always calling these people our ancestors. And I'm like, well, these are our ancestors, who came up with this stuff. They came up with these oral laws. They came up with these fence laws. They came up with the tradition of the elders. Then as time goes on, right, then who are known as the Ashkenazi, or pretty much I'm using that as a term to not say whack folks, right? Because that's what some people think. They're like, oh man, these whack folks are the ones who started carrying the oral Torah and the tradition of the elders, and they're the ones who are keep writing it. So they must have come up. They must have come up with it. No, they didn't come up with it. They just took it on and retained it when a lot of people just did away with the Most High altogether, right? So we're going to continue. Like I said, we're going to take our time with this one, right? So let's go back to Matthew 19. Let's go back to Matthew 19, and I'm going to go to, let's see what I'm going to read. Some of the Ashkenazi descend from Japheth. However, where does Japheth descend from? Japheth descends from Noah and his wife. BA, were Noah and his wife black or white? Were they
As far
black
as I
folk or
know,
white
these are
folk?
people. These are what they were melanated back in. As far as I know.
Oh, okay. So if Japheth, if Japheth is the direct child of Noah and his wife, right? Now Japheth may have, when they went north, when they got scattered up north, right? Their pigmentation, their skin color changes because of the geographical location and the climate they are in. I think I made that statement so we can get that through our thick skulls. They are still our brothers.
But even if Japhet and them migrated, it still doesn't change this.
Right.
It still doesn't change it. It doesn't change that your ancestors went against the commandment of Deuteronomy chapter 4, where Moses says, do not add or take away from this law. Because when you add, you take away. And when you take away, you add. It still doesn't change what Ezra and Nehemiah did when they came back from Mesopotamia. It still doesn't change it. It doesn't change the different Jewish sects or the different Israelite sects that morphed out of that, the Hasidim, and then your various other small circles that turned into the Sadducees and the Pharisees and various other Jewish sects that upheld the Torah and also had their own interpretation of Torah, which is also another form of halakha. So it doesn't change anything. Stop running from it.
Oh yeah. No, we're gonna deal with that because it's not about color. It is about the promise. The promise is through Abraham. The promise is through Abraham that all humanity come back to its creator. That all humanity come back to its creator. And all humanity has to come back to its creator through the spearhead, which is Abraham, which comes the seed, Yeshua, right? So everybody, every last bit of humanity comes back to the Most High through Yeshua, because the creator is the creator of all humanity. We're going to lay that down. These are the Most High's people. Every last single human being on this earth is the Most High's people. The Most High YHWH people. Now, Matthew 19, verses 3 to 9. I'm not going to read all of this. I'm going to focus pretty much on verses 3, 7, and 9. So bear with me. Left to right here, verse 3 in Matthew 19. Que proseton auto Pharisei, perazontes auton que lerontes. E existin anthropo apalisetin gineka auto kata pasa etian. So pretty much there that's and came to him, the Pharisees, testing him and saying, is it allowed for a man to send away his wife for all reason. Now, this word right here, apolise. Remember, what this mouse. Let me see if I need to get rid of that mouse pad. Let me see. Okay, apolise, right? That is back to the word apolio, right? That is back to the word apolio. And that word apolio goes back to the Hebrew word shalach. And remember, I said that means it is sending away, separating without divorce papers. sending away without divorce papers. Right? So the Pharisees are asking, hey, is it allowed, or is it allowed for a man to put away his wife, separate from his wife without divorce papers for any reason? Right? All right. Let's go to verse 7. Okay, so legusin auto tiun Moses initelato dunem biblion apostasiu ke apalise aftin. So, here goes the word again. Okay. Here we go. Were you gonna say something, BA?
No, I was gonna just go ahead and read the verse 7. That's when the master responds, right?
No. They say, the Pharisees. They say.
Okay.
Yeah, this is the third person plural here. The first word, legusin. They say to him. They're saying to him, why then? Pretty much, why then did Moses, right, command?
The bill of divorcement. Yeah.
There you go. Yeah. So why then did Moses, right, in the telato, why did he command Dune to give biblion, a writing, or sefer apostasiu? That word, right? That goes back to the word ketetut. That goes back to the Hebrew word ketetut. You see, they be trying to trip them up, right? So why then did Moses command to give a writing or a writ or a certificate of divorce, K, and a police, and send away or separate from her, right? Separate without the divorce paper. So he told us to do one thing and do this. So separate with, separate without. I'm like, you see, they trying to test the Messiah. They're trying to test the Messiah.
Trying to trip them up.
Yeah, trying to trip them up. Right, verse 9. And thank y'all for bearing with me through this Greek. I'd be so nervous reading this, knowing that people are listening and watching me. Right? Y'all don't understand. All right. So, verse 9, Matthew chapter 19, verse 9. Lego dihimin hati hos an apalisi tin gineka aftu me epipornia. This word too. Pornia, right? So, lego dihimin hati has an apalisi tin gineka aftu mi epipornia ke gamisi alin moikate. We're gonna look at that word too. Moikate ke ha apale limini gamisas moikate. Right? So that is, and I say to you that whoever should put away, send away, separate, right? Who shall separate from the wife, from his wife, except for pornea, except for some sexual immorality, right? And should marry another, commits adultery, moikate, adultery, right? Keha apalele meaning, right? And the one being dismissed, and the one being separated, and the one being put away without divorce papers, right? Marries her, that person commits adultery. So she's committing adultery, and the one marrying her is committing adultery. Now, BA and the people out there, I'm bringing this up because, and we're going to bring up Matthew 5, 31, 30, Matthew chapter 5, verses 31, 32 as well. And then we're going to go into some receipts, right? A lot of people go here and say, well, if there is no sleeping with another person, you can't get divorced. That's what people come here and think. Now remember again from Deuteronomy chapter 24, right? From Deuteronomy chapter 24, the putting away or sending away and writing a certificate are two different things. So the putting away or shalak or keretut, writing a bill of divorce, is two different things. So the shalak or the apelio in the Greek, right? It means to send away, separate without written divorce papers, right? To keretut or to apostasion is to give a lawful disestablishment of the marriage contract with a written document of certificate. All right. Hey, shalom. Hey, that's Brother Jermaine. Shalom, Brother Jermaine. How you doing? Thank you for being here. Yep. Catch the replay. All right. So with that being said, back to Matthew 19. Right? So what Yeshua is pretty much saying, the Pharisees, let me say this, the Pharisees, they were asking, can they be lawful in sending away with no papers? Can they send somebody away with no papers? Right? And the Pharisees responded to Yeshua saying, hey, Moses commanded us to write a bill of divorcement and put her away. So there's a due process here, right? So they were trying to see, the Pharisees were trying to see if they could be justified in their behavior of just putting away without a writ or a certificate or a sefer or writing of divorce. That's what they were doing. This is abuse. Abuse. It is not verbatim abuse in the Bible, but this concept here is abuse. It's misusing something. It's misusing something. It's mistreating something. It's taking advantage of something. Right? That's what the concept here is. Right? So now what they're trying to do is say, if this is allowed, right? If abusing this concept is allowed, they're saying, well, a husband could avoid paying the dowry or ketubah settlement, financial support until the wife remarried, and continue to get the benefits and profits he made from her dowry. Let me say that again. I wrote it down. It said, by doing this, a husband could avoid paying dowry or ketubah settlement, could avoid financial support until his wife remarried, and continue to get benefits and profits he made from her dowry. See, thank you. Shalom, notorious Hebrew. Shalom, notorious Hebrew. Male or female are you? Let me make sure, because sometimes I can't see exactly the from your profile picture who you are, and I just want to make sure I get these correct. Right? So Yeshua is not banning divorce, and Yeshua is not saying that you can only get a divorce if somebody is doing some sort of adultery. No, because pornea and moikate is two separate words. Two separate words, right? So pornea is some sort of sexual immorality, and moikate is adultery, right? Let me do this real quick here. So Matthew 5, verse 31 and 32. Read that for me, BA, real quick.
Can you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you.
It was also said, whosoever divorces his wife, let him give her a certificate of divorce. But I say to you that everyone who divorces his wife, except on the grounds of sexual immorality, makes her commit adultery. And whosoever marries a divorced woman commits adultery.
So pretty much this is saying the same things as Matthew 9, right? And then we also find this in Mark 10 and then Luke 18, right?
Exactly.
So let me read Matthew 5. The Greek, Matthew 5, 31, 32. Bear with me if I can read it. We got the infamous Judah Natsara in the building, huh? Shalom to you. But we do ask that we could be respectful. You know what I mean? I know we be clowning around sometimes with people we know and we converse with all the time. But you know. But how you doing, brother? It's good to have you here, my brother. All right. All right. So Matthew 5 verses 31 to 32 in the Greek. Iritidi has an apalisitin gineka autu dato auti apostasion. Ego dilego himin hati pas ha apalion. Tin gineka autu pariktos lagu pornias poi autin moikev dine. Ke has ean apale liminin gamisi moikate. So Shalom, his princess. Oh yeah, exactly. Well, we're gonna show some evidences here in the next hour coming up. So 31, and it was also said whoever it was also said whoever should put away, right, without divorce papers, who shall send away without divorce papers, his wife, right? Let him give her a written bill of divorce. No, let him give her a written bill of divorce. If you wanna put her away, you also have to do this just due process. Give her a writing, a certificate, a document of divorce, right? Right. But verse 32, watch this. But I say to you that all the ones putting away his wife, except for the matter of porneas, sexual immorality, does pretty much make her commit adultery, right? And whoever pretty much marries her, right? Whoever marries the one being sent away with no writing of divorce commits adultery, right? And so, yeah, a decree of dissolution. All right. So, so pornea. Let's bring this up here. So this is from the Brown Driver and Briggs here. This is Erva brought up this word to show. Let me just make it a little bit bigger. What is that? Okay. So 6172 in the Hebrew, Erva, it's translated as nakedness. However, when you look at how it's used in Deuteronomy chapter 24, verse 1, some sort of indecency, improper behavior, right? Improper behavior. All right. So what the improper behavior was, right, is the pornea. So what Yeshua is saying in Matthew 19 and in Matthew 5, pornea goes to the word, let's see. Yep, pornea, prostitution, fornication. Prostitution, fornication. As you see here, this is from the Liddell Scott Jones Greek English lexicon, right?
That's also another good source to have. I have a copy of that as well in that Brown Jarvis and Briggs.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Hey, Shalom, is Rob. What's up, brother? We got to get together. Me, you, BA, some other people. It's been a minute since we conversed. So, pornea goes to the Hebrew word zinut, fornication. So pretty much it's an unlawful sexual union to begin with. It's an unlawful sexual union to begin with. So do y'all get what I'm saying here? So there is a lawful union of marriage, then there's unlawful union of marriage, right? So what is Yeshua saying, right? So pornea is it's an unlawful sexual union to begin with. That's the only exception of putting away or separating without divorce papers. If the woman does not have a writ of divorce or a certificate of divorce, she commits adultery if she remarries because she is still legally married to the initial husband.
Because there's no divorce papers.
There you go.
It's that simple, y'all. That's simple.
Simple.
That's simple.
Simple. So the cause for divorce is not adultery, right? But pornea. The cause for divorce is what? There's an unlawful sexual union to begin with. There's something unlawful to begin with, right? So like I said, some people think that adultery is the reason someone can divorce. Nah. It's something that's you can divorce for some reasons, and we're going to show those, but adultery is not the only reason it's applicable to be able to divorce someone, right? So pornea, I know fornication, right? In church we were told fornication was premarital sex. But I was like, wait a minute, how can fornication be premarital sex in this context? Right. They're like, oh, it's sex before you get legally married. Okay. So the most mentioned meaning of pornea is prostitution. Right? Pornea is also used for matters of homosexuality and incest. Realize that, BA? Y'all realize that? So in Leviticus 18, you have all these things that list incest, unlawful unions to begin with. Right? Unlawful unions to begin with. Esau is also called what he's doing, pornea. He's also called a fornicator, right? Because of his behavior back in Genesis 26, right? When he had forbidden unions. Oh, okay. So something unlawful or forbidden to begin with, right? So Yeshua was saying, Jesus was saying that you can only put away or separate without divorce papers because the union is illegitimate or unlawful to begin with.
And we know that the Pharisees were doing a lot of things that were contrary to the Torah.
There you go.
So that's why it's very important, and it's imperative to understand the social context of what we're reading here. That's why I said it earlier. Notice it's the Pharisees that is bringing this to the master. Notice it's them. It's always something with the Pharisees. Always something with them.
Yep. Always something. Right? Now there are cases where divorce is not permitted, like in Deuteronomy chapter 22, you have where a husband falsely where the husband falsely claims that the new wife was not a virgin when he married her. And also another time where you can't divorce is when a man had sex with a virgin single woman. However, in that case, the legality to marry was at her father's discretion. Right? So this is the word here, moikete. This is the word moikaio, the word that it comes from here in the Greek, right? To commit adultery. So committing adultery is a sexual union with somebody who you are not lawfully married to, right? So a na'af or no f. A na'af is to commit adultery. No f is in its participle form, and in Matthew 5 and Matthew 19. So no F is in a participle form. So participle, you would have an ing on the end of the word. So a committer, a person, who's committing, a person who's doing this thing, right? So, let me see where else I want to go. I do want to say this, a couple of things, and then we'll go to some evidences here. So remember that erva, the word erva here. Let's go back up to it. Okay, erva dabar. In Deuteronomy chapter 24, verse 1, remember ervat dabar, some sort of indecent thing, right? Some people think it's always meaning adultery here in that text. However, realize that the punishment for adultery is death. You get stoned to death, right? If you look at Leviticus chapter 20 and Deuteronomy chapter 22, right? You can see there that the penalty for adultery is death. You get stoned, right? But before you get stoned, there's a just due judicial process to see if you're found guilty or not. If you're found guilty, then the process of stoning happens. I want people to realize there's always a just due judicial process in Israel. It might not be verbatim here in the text, but there is always historically a just due judicial process, right? So, men were remarrying illegally because they were not giving the wives the writ or certificate of divorce. That's what was going on, right?
There's a reason. There's a reason for that too. There's a reason for that. And like I said, I'm pretty sure you're about to get into that.
Yeah, we about to get into all that, VA. Yeah, y'all here for the good part. Everybody who stayed, Torah, y'all here for the good part, because Ashanti always bringing direct sources, or what some people like to call evidence and receipts, right?
Oh,
I got
we got it.
To share.
We got it.
Right?
There's a reason why.
Yep. Yep. Now watch this. I want to go to one more thing, BA, before I bring some now. Let's go to Malachi chapter 2. Right? I have it up here like this for a reason. Malachi chapter 2, verse 16. I want you to read it, BA. Let me know if you can read the red part. You see the red part, the translation there? Of course, you can only read that part, right? Yeah. So,
okay.
Read verse 16. So this is Malachi chapter 2, verse 16. Go ahead.
Says divorce that he hates. Hold on. Make it a little bigger.
I'm going to make it bigger, but read right to left. My bad. Read right to left.
Oh, okay.
Read right to left. So let me get to the verse 16. Where is it at? Okay, I think it's here somewhere. All right, you got it. So you see where the mouse is right here?
Yeah.
Rolling around. I'm circling it around. Okay, so read that way.
Start from 4. Letter 4.
Yep, 4. The word 4. You see 4.
For hates he that divorce says.
Well, actually, you know what? Let's do this. Let's do this. Let me make it easier for my bro. Let me make it easier for my bro. Bear with us, y'all. Let me make this easy for my bro. Because I'm used to reading right to left and all that stuff, but he maybe not. So let me make this easy for my bro. Let me make this easy for some of y'all who are like my bro. All right. So we're going to go to Malachi chapter 2, and we're just going to read one verse. We're going to read verse 16. Malachi chapter 2, verse 16. I'm going to make it bigger, BA.
Yep.
Whoops. All right. That's a good question, Sister Regina. We're going to have to find out if it's just one big stone or a lot of medium or small size stones. We're going to have to find that out when they stone people. All right, so verse 16. So Malachi chapter 2, verse 16, and then we're gonna go to this
Yep.
receipts. Go ahead, Bia.
For the man who does not love his wife, but divorces her, says the Lord. I'm sorry. For the man who does not love his wife, but divorces her, says the Lord, the God of Israel, covers his garments with violence, says the Lord of hosts. So guard yourselves in your spirit and do not be faithless.
All right, so that's the ESV version, right? Now I know y'all are more familiar with the KJV, right? We're gonna go there. Y'all gonna be familiar with this version, right? Malachi chapter 2 in the KJV, verse 16, right? That's what we're gonna do. And I'm gonna have BA read it again. Right? And thank y'all for bearing with me in this lesson. All right, BA.
For the
So Malachi
Lord,
chapter 2, verse 16. Go ahead.
for the Lord, the God of Israel, saith that
Slow down,
he
slow
hated
down.
putting.
Hold on. So you're gonna slow down. Just slow down, BA. You know what I'm
Yep. For the
saying?
Lord, the God of Israel, saith that he hateth putting away, for one covereth violence with his garment, saith the Lord of hosts. Therefore, take heed to your spirit, that ye deal not treacherously.
There you go. So a lot of people, Bebakasha, Sister Stacy. You're welcome, Sister Stacy. Absolutely. Stay tuned because we coming with the nitty-gritty right now. Right. So a lot of people go here, BA, and say, you know what? The Most High said he hate divorce.
Yeah, I've heard that before plenty of times.
You heard that before plenty of times,
Yeah,
right? But
yeah.
look what we misconstrue. He hated the putting away. He hated the putting away. Remember, there's a difference between shalak, putting or sending away, and kedetut, giving a written bill of divorcement or divorce, right? Watch. Says for hates. Look, in the translation over here, in the interlinear, it says divorce for the word shalach, right? BA?
Yeah,
Shin, lamed, chet, right? But remember, shalach means to what? Send away, dismiss, or separate without divorce papers. That is
without
putting
divorce
away.
papers.
There you go.
Yeah, exactly. But we been like I said, we about to show why the divorce paper thing was just like done away with. Why they were not. You know what I'm saying? We go mess around to see why.
Right. We answering that right now. Can an Israelite woman initiate divorce? Initiate means begin the process of divorce. Can she go to the assembly, the witnesses, the congregation, and say, you know what? I want out. Can she do that? Does Deuteronomy 24 say she can't do that? It doesn't say she can't do that. It just pretty much requires the man, the husband, to do the paperwork. I don't know about y'all, but the less paperwork I have to do, I'm cool with that. Right?
Yeah, it's about to get hot. Admit it. It's about to get hot.
Right? Come on, BA. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
they're not. Yeah, some of these guys ain't finna like this, man.
No, they not gonna like that.
They don't like this one.
No, they not. Good.
And
All right,
again,
so go ahead, BA.
no, I'm just saying, and as we share the sources, if those who would like for us to send them to you, we will send them to you, so you can vet
Send
them
them.
out for yourselves.
Mm-hmm. Let's pull this up.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
Here we go.
Uh-oh. This is what I found from the Scribd app that I have, right? I was reading a book called The Halakha of Jesus, I believe. And is that the book, BA? What's the title of the book?
This
Let me
right
see.
here, Jewish ethics.
No. Mm-mm. Nope, not that one. Let me see. No, I don't want to go. It's called. Oh, it's the one I sent. Hold on. I want to give y'all the name of the book. I want to give y'all the name of the book. Okay, it's in. There it go. There it go. It's called. Yep. It's called The Halakha of Jesus of Nazareth according
Oh,
to the
okay.
Gospel of Matthew. So again,
Okay.
it's called The Halakha of Jesus of Nazareth according to the Gospel of Matthew. So there's a section in that book about divorce. And I was reading some of the references, right? And one of the references in that book is this document right here, the Aramaic papyri of the 5th century BC, before the Common Era, right? BC. All right. I think I don't know why I put that up there. Yeah, Judah, why you giving Brother Judah giving Brother Vinny a hard time? They be doing their thing, sis. You know, that's something our brothers do, you know. I don't know. So we're answering we're answering the question, can Israelite women initiate divorce? That's what we're answering. Right? Does a woman have a choice to be married in the first place? Yes. If you go back to Genesis 24, Rebecca, they say, hey, you want to go with this man? She was given a choice. Yes, she was given a choice. So women are given a choice. They are given a choice. All right? Yes. Given a choice. All right. So Aramaic papyri of the 5th century BCE. This is edited with translation and notes by A. Cowley. Right? So these are evidences of what is a ketubah, a marriage contract. This is papyri that we have available out here that we could see of a marriage contract. Look at this, y'all. Look at this. Let me make this bigger. Let me see. Put it to 200. Let me slide. All right, marriage contract. So this is number 15, right? This is a list of these marriage contracts that the historians have put together, right? So this is they documented this as the marriage contract number 15 they were looking at, right? So this is a marriage contract about 441 BC. So this is 5th century BC, right? The years between 500 and 400 BC, right? Now let me read this to you. The number of the year is lost, line 1, right? We're going to look at a marriage contract, right? We're going to look at it. Can y'all see this or y'all need me to make it bigger? You can see it, BA?
I can maybe make it a tad bit bigger. Just a tad bit, a little bit more.
I can stretch it to 250.
Yeah, that's better.
Better?
Yep.
Let me see. All right. I think that's it, right? Okay. So I'm going to read this. The number of the year is lost, line 1, being much broken. There are, however, reasons for putting the document at about the same date as number 14 or soon after. So again, this book has a collection of all these ketuvim, all these marriage contracts. And remember, remember I said there were several marriage contracts within one marriage contract, right? The scribe Nathan was a witness to numbers 8 and 9 in 459 BC and wrote number 10 in 456 and number 13 in 447. In 459 BC, remember this name here, you guys, Mibtachia, right? So Mibtachia, in 459, Mibtachia was the wife of Jezaniah, her first marriage. Remember that name, Mibtachia. Miftahya. Remember that name. All right. So in number 13 in 447, he is not mentioned and was therefore probably dead or divorced. In number 20, in 420 BCE, Ashur, the present bridegroom, was apparently also dead, leaving two sons old enough to act as principals in an action at law. Supposing them to be then about 18 years of age, the present marriage cannot have taken much place after 440. If the interpretation of number 14 is right, and Mibtavya was then in 441 just divorced from her second husband, we are forced to date this document in or after 441 BC. At any rate, Ashur is not mentioned in number 14. Right? All right. One of the witnesses here for this marriage contract, the Ketuvah, one of the witnesses here is Penulia ben Yezaniah. And in number 20, a witness is Yezaniah ben Penulia, probably his son, as a child was often named after his grandfather. Right? And this is a Ketubah, or marriage settlement. This is a ketubah or marriage settlement. So in today's age, or over here in America, this would be known as a prenuptial agreement. Now, let me say this. In my opinion, I do not have a problem with prenuptial agreements. If you guys looked at these Aramaic papyri of the ketubah and everything that it lists, oh my gosh, there's so many specifications, and it's cool, and it makes sure that nobody gets abused. Nobody gets abused and nobody could abuse, right? So this is a ketuvah or marriage settlement giving list of the mutual gifts with their values. Very important for determining the relative values of the money terms. It then states the terms of succession in case the marriage is dissolved. Unfortunately, the text is very difficult, partly owing to its broken condition and partly to the many unknown words. So they're making it out, right? So this is the writing. However, since I don't have my Moray David here, Moray David Royal, because he can actually mutter through this. He can get through it, right? So, I'm gonna read what you have here, the English translation of this, all right? All right. So it starts off as this. It says on the 25th of Tishri, that is the 6th day of the month, Epiphi of Artaxerxes, the king, said Ashur ben Zecho, builder to the king, Masia, Aramaean of Cyrene. Now, Aramaean of Cyrene, not Syene. Now, it says Aramaean of Syene, but these pretty much are Jews living in Elephantine. And the Jews living in Elephantine, they would be called Aramean. However, they are Jews, right? And you can find that information. I'm looking at. There's a document from a book written. Let's see. It's called. Let me get it. Bezalel. It's called the Elephantine Papyri in English by Bezalel Porten. Porten. All right. So on the 25th of Tishri, that is the 6th day of the month, Epiphi of Artaxerxes the king, said Ashur ben Zahol, builder to the king, Masia, Aramaean of Syene, of the detachment of Warazoth, as follows. I came to your house that you might give me your daughter, Miftahya, in marriage. She is my wife, and I her husband from this day forever. I have given you as the price of your daughter, Miftahya, the sum of 5 shekels, royal weight. It has been received by you, and your heart is content therewith. I have delivered to your daughter, Miftahya, into her hand for the cost of furniture, 1 karash, 2 shekels, royal weight of the standard of 2 R to 10. I forget what the R is. I have it written down, but I'm not gonna look at what the R is. I have to go back into my notes, but I wrote it down. Oh my goodness. I have it pictured. Okay. I have delivered to her into her hand 1 woolen robe, new, striped, dyed on both sides, whose length was 8 cubits by 5, worth the sum of 2 kerashim, 8 shekels, royal weight. I think, okay, so the R might be the royal weight. Yep. One closely woven shawl, new, whose length was 8 cubits by 5, worth the sum of 8 shekels, royal weight. Another woolen robe, finely woven, whose length was 6 cubits by 4, worth the sum of 7 shekels.
A mirror of bronze.
Yeah, I'm there. I'm just scrolling up. All right, 1 mirror of bronze, worth the sum of 1 shekel. 2 royal weight, pretty much. 1 tray of bronze, worth the sum of 1 shekel, 2 royal weight. 2 cups of bronze, worth the sum of 2 shekels. 1 bowl of bronze, worth the sum of 2 royal weight. Total money and value of goods being the sum of 6 kerashim, 5 shekels, 20 halarin of the standard of 2 royal to 10 royal weight. I have received, and my heart is content therewith. 1 couch of reeds with 4 supports. See, this is down to the couch, to the shawl, to the bowl. I mean, they had everything written down.
But notice how it starts off. He gave to her father.
Come on.
And then from there, he gave to the woman to be his wife.
Mm-hmm. There's a due process here.
Yeah. So now we're starting to understand why the bill of divorcement or the paperwork is not relevant for most individuals.
Yeah, because they trying to abuse stuff. They just trying to walk off and, no, the Most High had extreme protection for women. And men. This is protection.
And notice
legal documents that were kept on file, you guys. These are legal contracts kept on file.
This is within Israel.
This is within Israel.
Our ancestors' records.
Our ancestors' records.
So, like we always talk about, we want to come back to the culture. We want to know how they lived. Well, guess what? Here it is.
Here it is. We're not supposed to be abusing one another. We're supposed to be loving one another. And this is how we show love for one another. We get our business taken care of. And that means legalities. Things documented. We always talk about, receipts. We got the receipts. We when somebody trying to accuse us of something, we could pull up written documents. You said this right here and you signed it right here. That's what this is. This is a ketubah, a marriage contract. So let me continue. So let me continue. It says, in this contract, this is the husband still talking, right? His portion, right? I have received, and my heart is content therewith, 1 couch of reeds with 4 supports of stone, 1 pack of silk, 2 ladles holding. The question mark is, remember, they're saying certain words were not, certain words were not legible, pretty much, right? 8H, I forget what that is. 1 MS knife. They're saying question mark. 1 cosmetic box of ivory new. Tomorrow, okay, now start to pay attention really right here. Start to pay attention really right here. Pay attention, but really start to hone in, right? Tomorrow or another day, if Ashur should die, and there is no child, male or female, belonging to him, by Miftahya, his wife, Miftahya has a right to the house of Ashur, his goods, and his chattels, and all that he has on the face of the earth. All of it. She gets some property. The goods. All of it. Right? All right, here we go. All right. Tomorrow or another day, if Miftahya should die and there is no child, this is the wife. Tomorrow or another day, if Miftahya should die and there is no child, male or female, belonging to her by Ashur, her husband, Ashur shall inherit her goods and her chattels. Now, I'm going to take this slow. Tomorrow.
Oh, yeah. Here we go.
Tomorrow or another day, if Miftah should stand up in the congregation, you see that number 23 right there? We're going to put a pin on number 23 because we're going to see what number 23 means, right? Tomorrow or another day, if Miftah should stand up in the congregation and say, I divorce Ashur, my husband, the price of divorce shall be on her head. She shall return to the scales and weigh out to Ashur the sum of 7 shekels, 2 are and all that I have put into her hand. She shall give up both shred, questionable, right, and thread, and she shall go away whither she will without suit or process. That should answer the question right there. Can an Israelite woman initiate divorce?
And remember, it says she went to the congregation.
Oh, we gonna look at what that means, BA. Hold your mule. Hold your mule. She went to the congregation. Now, let me read one more line. Oh, well, let me read the rest of this. Tomorrow or another day, if Ashur should stand up in the congregation and say, I divorce my wife, Miftah, her price shall be forfeited, but all that I have put into her hand, she shall give up both shred and thread on one day at one time, and she shall go away whither she will without suit or process. Right? Right? But if let me scroll up here. All right. But if he should rise up against Miftah to drive her out from his Ashur's house and his goods and chattels, he shall give her the sum of 20 kedushin, and the provisions of this deed shall be annulled as far as she is concerned. And I shall have no right to say I have another wife. Let me start that line over again.
Oh boy.
I don't think y'all got that. I don't think y'all getting this. This is in the contract. This is in the beginning. This is the start. It's written down. This is a scribe writing on behalf of Ashur, right? I have another wife, right? And I shall have no right to say I have another wife besides Miftah and other children than the children whom Miftah shall bear to me. See, it's laid out to begin with if you can do something or not later on.
Within the marriage.
There you go.
Boy.
Let's go back to Leviticus 18 and 18, right? Now, me and BA did a lesson on this already, right? About the polygyny thing. But this right here in the marriage contract, it's written down, signed, right? And legal that what? What the dude say? I shall have no right to say I have another wife besides Miftah and other children than the children whom Miftah shall bear to me. If I say I have children and wife other than Miftah and her children, I will pay to Miftah the sum of 20 kedushin royal weight, and I shall have no right to take away my goods and chattels from Miftah. And if I remove them from her or erasure, right, I will pay to Miftah the sum of 20 kedushin royal weight.
Sound like somebody got to cash out, as we would say in these modern day terms.
Oh, BA, come on now.
Now we see why paperwork is avoided.
Oh, these cats nowadays be trying to avoid paperwork.
And now we see why they're pushing sexist marriage.
Mm-hmm. Because they don't want to
You
be
see?
accountable. Huh? They don't want to be accountable. And let me say this. Every last human being on this earth, male and female, man and woman, has to be accountable and responsible and take ownership for the things we are supposed to take ownership for and responsibility for and accountability for. Case closed. Case closed. It's all
They're
right
going.
here. There's a marriage contract for some Jews, BA, from some Jews, from some Israelites.
Here come the rocks. The rocks coming toward our direction. They're gonna be shooting at us.
Yeah.
Slingshot and all.
They coming, huh?
Get down.
Oh boy.
Oh, stop. They're coming.
Can an Israelite woman, can an Israelite woman initiate or begin the process of divorce? It's right here. It's right here in the marriage contract. Yes. But I'm not done there. I'm not done here.
Oh, there's more.
There's more.
There's more. Like I said, this is how your ancestors did things. So don't get mad at us for bringing it out. Get mad at your ancestors for putting this stuff on record for us to go back and see how they socially lived. Get mad at them.
Sure did. Yep.
Whether you, like the sister said, whether you like it or not.
Come on.
Deal with it.
Deal with it.
You want to know your culture? You seeing a piece of your culture right now.
Right now. Tomorrow or another day, if Miftaha, the wife, should stand up in the congregation and say, I divorced Ashur, my husband, right? She got to give something up. But she can initiate this. Now, let's go to this reference, number 23, when it says, stand up in the congregation, right? Before I go there, stand up in the congregation. Now, remember, Nathan, right?
The guy he's the witness. He's the witness.
Yeah. Well, he's the scribe.
Yeah, of course.
Watch this, and then there's the witnesses. So watch this, BA. Nathan ben Ananiah, or Nanya, right? Nathan ben Ananiah wrote this deed at the direction of Ashur. Huh? And the witnesses here too. Huh? Penoliah ben Yezaniah and somebody ben Uriah, right? Menachem ben Zakur. Witness, another witness, Revel, ben somebody, right? Remember, this is papyri, old and broken. What script is that? Moshe Yahu, shalom for joining in. What script is that? This is a marriage contract. This is Aramaic papyri from the 5th century BC. And this script right here. This script right there, but I was reading the translation of it.
Yep, we were just reading it translated in English.
Yes.
But everything we read in English is right there in the Aramaic, which was a language that your ancestors spoke. Mm-hmm. Which is not too different from Hebrew. Not very different at all.
All right. So, I want line 23. Okay.
You're looking for 23, right?
Actually, let me go back up for a hot second because I forgot to write another number down. I want another reference here. So it was before. It says when she it says tomorrow another day. I divorce. I show my husband the okay. Return to. Let me see if it's over there. Okay. Maybe not. All right, so let's just go to mainly 23. Reference the line 23. We're gonna get some more insight about line 23. Okay. All right. Mm-hmm. Okay, so line 23. This word right here. Sin, Nun, Aleph, Ta. That's the word. It's hate, but used here for divorce. Hate, right? And then Bereshit. You have the Bet, the Resh, the Aleph, the Shin, and the Tav there is on her head. So it says apparently she is responsible for it. Tet Bet from Tov. She shall return to the scales, or Hafel she shall put back in its entirety. It says not from Yod Tet Bet, not from that as these are the names of the scholars. They're saying not as certain scholars have put it, right? Let me see. Versus line 20. No, not line 23. That is one I wanted to look at. Then I want to look at another one. Reference. What is that reference? It's reference 23, but it's a certain line.
You talking about the letter R?
Mm-mm. Where it says tomorrow or another day. Tomorrow or another day, if Miftah should stand up in the assembly, right?
Yeah, you
What
gotta
line
go
is
down
that?
some.
That would be line
20.
line
Tomorrow,
nah.
another day. 24, 22. And say I divorce Asher my husband, the
Mhm.
price of divorce shall be on her head. She
Mhm.
shall return to the scale.
Mhm. But it's a certain line I'm looking at. So it's not the reference 23, it's line. I'm looking for a certain line. And okay, so let me go back down here. Go back down here. I apologize, y'all. Hold on. I'm looking for Ada. Ada. How did I take these pictures? Ada. Okay. Bro, it's a technical term. Alright, she shall return to the scales, line 24. What she has received, line 25. Oh my god. No,
Looking
I
for
can't
line
find
30?
it. Is it line 30? What you referring to, BA?
I just
You
saw
you you
line
trying to
30.
you trying to figure out what I'm looking at, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to find out the word, the congregation. Hold on.
Okay, so go back to the contract we were reading then.
Yeah, I gotta go back. So line, we're looking at line. Why did I think it was line 23?
But line 23, I think it does mention the congregation. What she wants is when she wants a divorce.
Yeah, but I'm trying to show the people. You know what I'm saying? Like, let me see. Uh,
So
20. Cause
yeah,
see, there's 20.
tomorrow or another day
Mm-hmm.
should stand up in the congregation.
Right. So let me look at line 21 or 22. Let me see if it's line 21 or 22. Because the word there, I'm not looking for the word sanat. I'm not looking for hate or on her head. I'm looking for the word for congregation or assembly there. You see what I'm getting at?
Yeah.
Hold on. Hold on, y'all. Hold on. No. Dang, I'm taking up a lot of time unnecessarily doing this because I had it down. Let me see. Let me see. Aharon, okay. Bada borrows a technical term. Sanat on her head, right? Okay. Let's see. That's line 1. Okay. All right, so let's go back up. Um. mhm. Oh boy. You said it's all right. Take your time. Y'all sound like the people in church. Y'all sound like the people in church. Take your time. Take your time. You know what I'm saying? All right. So that's line 4. It's a reference. It's a reference. Okay, 23, 24. Maybe it's 22. And let me go slow. Let me go slow, yeah. Let me go slow. Maybe it's 22 shekel. Okay, line 15. It's not what I'm looking for. Okay. That's not what I'm looking for. Okay, cool. So let's scroll back over. Indicate there. Okay, so line 20. Yeah, it's somewhere in here. Okay. It is right here. Duh, it's looking me smack dab in the face. Line
Which one
22,
was
not
it?
23. Line 22. Yeah, because it's they go by lines, not references, but lines. So lines,
Okay.
right? Right? So your
Thank
email
you.
is everything. Oh, for sure. Okay, so line 22, bada. So it's a Hebrew word. It says it's borrowed as a technical term. So pretty much the congregation is the assembly or the witnesses. So pretty much that's also the word that goes back in Ephesians when it says you're part of the commonwealth. Pretty much your citizens. Pretty much, so that is your witnesses. So remember, the witnesses are a part of who can be involved in the court process to have things official, right? To
Okay.
have things official when there's a court process going on. I took all that time because it was right here, line 22. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry, y'all. I'm so sorry. Y'all gonna go back to this part. I'm like, dang, Shanti took a long time doing nothing. It was right there in her face. All right. So the congregation, the assembly, the witnesses. So remember, I said everything is a just due judicial process. So let's see if I need to bring up anything else. I think we went over all this. No? Okay, so some more evidence here. Okay, let's get to it. So I'm not gonna read all this because I want to get to the Talmud of the Mishnah. But this is an article found on Chabad.org, right? And it's from this book here. Let me stop screen sharing for a minute. It's from this book. This book is called Jewish Divorce Ethics: The Right Way to Say Goodbye, Rabbi Dr. Reuven P. Bolka. Right. So the article here is from this book, and the article is called "The Wife's Grounds for Divorce." She can initiate. Yes, the wife can initiate. She can begin the process. She can begin the process. She can go to the assembly, the congregation, or the witnesses, and she can bring something up to the court. She can bring something up to the court system. She can bring something up to the Beit Din, right? She can bring her cause to the Beit Din, and we just read a marriage contract, the ketuvah, that has in it a statement that says, hey, if my wife stands up in the congregation and says, I divorced my husband, then I'm going to drop these things back to him. I'm going to put it on the scale. I'm going to weigh it out and give it back to him. But that means that she can initiate. She can begin the process, right? So it's a long article. However, it's really good to read. Really good to read. Let me see. Should we read it? Yeah, let's read it. Let's read it. I'll read it, BA. So, and then we're going to read some other things. We're going to go into a lot of reading and then close out. All right. And I appreciate those who stayed this long and listened to this long lesson. But sometimes we need these long lessons, I need to make this just a little bit smaller so it doesn't. Okay. Stretch it out anymore. That's it right there. Okay. All right. This is Chabad.org. The Wife's Grounds for Divorce. It's from this book here. Like I said, it's from this book. Let me show y'all the actual pages on from this book so y'all can understand. I'm not just making this up that it's in this book. Because there's also a section in this book called The Husband's Grounds for Divorce. Right?
And I can back my sister up because I got the same sources she has.
Mm-hmm.
So the thing is about us, we like to share our sources. We understand people don't like that, but for those who are seeking, we have them. Send us an email and we'll share you the references of the sources that we have.
Yep. There it goes, see? All right. So I'm going to read this. Women can initiate. That's what it says here. Women can initiate. The right of the wife to demand a divorce is as legally entrenched as is the right of the husband to demand a divorce. This legal entrenchment goes all the way back to biblical times and is not merely an adjustment to more modern contingencies. It would be a basic inequity in the relationship if the husband would be allowed to sue for divorce for whatever precipitating factor, whilst the wife would not be allowed to demand exit from the marriage no matter what happened. No one can deny that there are inequities in the system, but these inequities emanate more from abuse of the system rather than from its basic weaknesses. See, we are the Most High's temple, and we are mandated to take care of the Most High's temple. There should be no means for abuse. There are protection measures in the Torah. Equity in the law. The very same Torah that forewarned against taking advantage of the orphan and the widow could hardly be expected to entrench vulnerability of the wife within the marriage. If anything, the sense of fairness and concern for all individuals, no matter what their position or station in life, is a central feature of the Torah. All individuals are godly creations, and all individuals must be appreciated as such. It is therefore not surprising and quite natural that the woman has access to exit from the marriage, not only in cases of mutual desire, but also in situations when she is obviously disadvantaged by a callous and insensitive husband. To force a woman to endure the agony of a cruel husband who abuses her is unfathomable. The selfsame Torah of God, which forbids the afflicting of others, could surely not allow or tolerate a situation wherein afflicting of others is permitted to continue through the camouflage of an institutionalized union, right? Disadvantage. So I will say this before I continue. It was not more prevalent like it is today where women divorce their husbands. Women like myself in today's day and age, especially here in America, we are definitely allowed a lot of freedoms. We are allowed to go to work, have careers, have jobs, make a lot of money. We can start our own businesses. We be balling out of control, right? And we contribute financially to our relationships, to our homes, right? We have that opportunity. Back then in the Bible, a woman, a lot of the times, she did not have all of the means to go out and have a regular job, a career like we do today. A lot of what was available to the women back then in that time was to be a servant girl or a prostitute, right? So a lot of times she didn't want to dissolve the marriage or be away or break up a family, especially when they have children, right? You hear that you hear that today too. One of the main reasons, or some of the main reasons why an abused woman, whether physically, emotional, spiritually, or mentally, stays with an abuser, right? Or a man. If a man stays in an abusive relationship, whether he's getting physically touched, right? Emotionally abused, spiritually abused, emotionally abused, a lot of the times they stay is because they probably don't have the financial means to take care of themselves if they were apart, or they don't want to break up their family. A lot of times people don't get divorced if they're in abused relationships because it's they are waiting around for that person to change. They are waiting around for that person to change. Sometimes they're afraid to leave because they might get stalked. Right? It's wild. But so the woman back then, if she did not have in her ketubah a father who left her plenty of stuff, or if she did not have a husband who left her plenty of stuff, it was hard for her to say, hey, I'm going to dissolve this marriage, because maybe she didn't want to break up her family. Maybe she did not have the financial means, because who wants to go off and be a servant girl or a prostitute? Let me continue. These are the reasons why a woman can initiate divorce. She can start the process. She can go to the congregation, the assembly, the witnesses. She can go to the Beit Din and say, look, verbally, this man is not fulfilling his responsibilities that he said he would do in the marriage contract. Right? Irresponsibility. So the primary right of a woman to demand a divorce is linked to situations when basic marital needs have been neglected or abused by the husband. We see this in Exodus 21, don't we? The husband is then convinced. Watch this. The husband is then convinced by the court to both grant the get or divorce to his wife and to give her the ketuvah, marital contract settlement. All right? So the husband who has been derelict with regard to the sustenance that he is obliged to give to his wife, or the conjugal visitation that he must share with his wife, has thereby violated a primary responsibility of the marital covenant, and the wife has the right to divorce in these situations. These elements of marriage are so crucial that they're being used by the husband as a weapon with which to deprive the wife, either emotionally or physically, is considered a breach of the sacred marital trust. A woman may demand a divorce from her husband if he has been found to be philandering with other women. Y'all know, out there, catting off with other women. There need not be proof of his having committed adultery, just of his having cavorted with other women. Even his causing her a bad name through his lecherous actions is likewise considered legitimate justification for the wife launching a divorce action. And I'm going to back this up with stuff. I'm going to back this article up. That's what we're going to do. If the wife feels repulsed by her husband, it is wrong to force her to remain in the union. If the wife should make a vow that affects the marital union, such as a vow related to abstaining from conjugal union or some other impediment to marital viability, and the husband purposely fails to annul that vow, this is interpreted as a desire on his part to sever the relationship. The wife may then demand a divorce. Should the husband, via a vow, forbid the wife to engage in any form of work, this is considered sufficient grounds for the wife to demand a get. Get is the Hebrew word for divorce. The reasoning behind this is that imposed idleness has certain adverse personal consequences, leading to frustration and perhaps even worse. No wife can be coerced into such an adversity. Abuse. The husband who hits his wife, curses her, ridicules her, insults her, or insults his wife's parents in the presence of his wife, or forbids his wife from visiting her parents or family, or whose general mode of communication with his wife is through temperamental outbursts and disrespectful language, creates a situation which is untenable. The wife cannot be expected to live in such an environment, and she is well within her rights to demand a divorce. In this situation, the wife must be able to show that this is not a rare occurrence or an isolated outburst, but that it is reflective of the husband's usual demeanor. Should a husband counterclaim with the charge that his behavior is instigated by her, the burden of proof is upon him. We assume the correctness of the wife's position unless and until the husband can prove otherwise. Remember, Deuteronomy 24 just says the husband has to do the paperwork. That's all that says. It doesn't mean that she can't initiate the divorce. It means that he got to file the paperwork. Unbearable conditions. The woman whose husband insists that his mother, that is the wife's mother-in-law, move into the house. Oh no. They had this situation going on back then, right? So the woman whose husband insists that his mother, that is the wife's mother-in-law, move into the house, and this thereby restricts the wife's freedom, may demand a divorce if this is an unbearable situation for her. The wife whose husband forces her into conjugal relations during her menstrual period may also demand a divorce. This is the case even if she may not be scrupulous with regard to observing the laws of menstruation, which forbid conjugal union during that period and 7 days beyond. The underlying common denominator in the mother-in-law and menstrual situations is that the husband fails or refuses to accord to the wife the freedom, dignity, and respect to which she is entitled beyond any question. The wife has the right to demand a divorce if the husband, for whatever reason, makes life unbearable for her. Aside from some of the reasons heretofore cited, this untenable situation may come as a result of the husband having developed a repulsive blemish or having adopted a noxious habit, such as cigarette smoking. It may ensue from his having taken on a malodorous offensive trade from which he comes home with an intolerable stench. Again, remember, I'm about to back all this up. We got 2 more things to read and then we done. I'm about to back all this up. The wife who was aware prior to marriage that her husband would be making his livelihood in an offensively smelling vocation is still able to claim that her awareness prior to the marriage did not prepare her and condition her to live with it. Even though she had the best of intentions, it turned out that the stench was much worse than she had envisaged, and she now finds it unbearable. Childlessness. If the husband is unfortunately sterile, Some people don't think about that situation. If the husband, if the husband is unfortunately sterile, the wife has the right to divorce on the proviso that this demand for divorce is linked to her assertion that she desires to have children. The same is true if the husband is impotent. When the husband takes issue with the wife's claim that he is impotent, her statement of his impotence is considered to be the more powerful argument. She is believed as long as she makes this statement directly and not via the good offices of a lawyer. Although the grounds spelled out here do not exhaust the full gamut of legitimate right for the wife to demand a divorce, they do provide sufficient insight into the wide range of circumstances which are found to be unfair to the woman, and because of this unfairness, she is allowed to demand exit from the marital union. Much as divorce is not a desideratum within Jewish life, neither is the locking in of either husband or wife in a prison of misery. Do y'all hear this out there? Do y'all hear this out there? So whoever teaching that woman cannot initiate divorce, especially if she's being abused, even if somebody says a man can't initiate divorce when he's being abused, they are wrong. Sorry, not sorry. Stop with the foolishness. And we live here in America, 2022. The laws of the land state here, a man or a woman can initiate a divorce.
Boy.
But back then in Israel, it was just that the male was the one, that the husband was the one to have to file the paperwork. Like I said, I don't know about y'all, but the less paperwork I got to file, the cooler I am. That's cool for me. The woman ain't got to file the paperwork. That's what Deuteronomy 24 is saying. Let me continue. Israel and Jerusalem says the land of Israel, a potentially explosive issue within marriage, has implications for divorce. The general rule is that whichever of the couples moved to Israel has the full right to the cooperation of the other spouse in this desire and can demand divorce from the reluctant spouse if that spouse refuses under any circumstances to move to Israel. The exception to this is when moving to Israel would transform the couple into a charity case, unable to make ends meet on their own. Right? So the same general equation applies when the issue is moving within Israel from any other city to Jerusalem. The spouse who desires to move to Jerusalem has the more powerful hand and can demand a divorce from the intransigent other spouse who refuses to move to Jerusalem. They're saying the reasoning behind this is that Israel is crucial to spiritual growth. Since marriage is a spiritual union in which the couple should grow together in a decidedly spiritual way, the failure to move to Israel or Jerusalem obstructs rather than facilitates this growth. There is a transcendent quality to the marriage that is neutralized through this refusal. Neither of the marital partners has the right to stand in the way of the marriage taking such a positive direction. The obstinate refusal to go along with such an obvious incremental improvement in the marriage's spiritual content is considered to be a breach of the primary intent of the marital covenant. But it is advisable that the marital partners not use the Israel or Jerusalem factor as a weapon. This and other marital growth issues should be a shared concern. All right. Let me get through this and then. Yep. Okay. A unique title. So within the realm of claims to divorce, there is a unique title and attendant rules given to one specific situation. That is the situation when either the husband or the wife refuses to be involved in conjugal relations. In this matter, the affected party, be it husband or wife, has sufficient grounds to demand divorce. And this has already been discussed, right? The instigator of this refusal is given a precise title, a title of dubious distinction. The instigator is labeled as a rebel. If it is the husband, he is referred to as a mored. If it is the wife, she is referred to as a mordedet. This term is generally accepted as applying specifically to conjugal visitation. It speaks eloquently and powerfully about the seriousness with which deviation from conjugal responsibility is viewed within the Judaic perspective. It is well known that pejorative labels are not the usual Judaic way of expressing displeasure with behavior. The use of such a label here must be seen as an extraordinary deviation from the norm and a sharp comment on the extreme gravity of this offense. Using one's body as a weapon to punish one's partner prostitutes the marriage compact in a most serious and inexcusable way. General rules. All right. So the husband who is a mored, or a rebel, must give his wife a divorce and must also give her the marriage settlement known as the ketubah. The wife who is a mordedet may be divorced by her husband and she forfeits her right to the ketubah settlement. So even though she may forfeit, guess what? She still has a right to initiate. When it is the husband who is the mored, the rebellious one, the wife has the right to seek a divorce, but she is not compelled to exercise that right. The reasoning for this is quite simple. Compelling the wife to seek a divorce will contravene the basic notion that the wife cannot be divorced against her will. It is obvious that any situation which forces the wife to seek a divorce from her husband would open up a convenient excuse for the husband to behave in that derelict manner so as to be sure that he will gain the wife's cooperation for the divorce. This is unacceptable. Conjugal games, right? The source is Chabad.org, but I'm also going to show some stuff from the historical perspective of how Israel saw things. Like I said, certain traditions, certain things that went along with the written Torah are not bad, right? I'm going to read that afterwards. And thank you for tuning in. We're gonna go to the end of the hour with this, right? All right. What I want to say before this, I want to keep saying it. I got to remind myself to keep saying it. The Beit Din, or the House of Judgment, has the just due authority and legal wherewithal to run the court system. Therefore, it has the right, the authority, and the wherewithal to demand or force the husband to write a certificate of divorce and let the woman marry another. Do y'all get that? I told y'all there's always a just due judicial process in Israel. And Israel has the legal authority, the right, the wherewithal to demand or force that husband say, hey, okay, according to this marriage contract, you said you were going to do this, that, and the third. You're not doing this, that, and the third. You're being irresponsible. You're being negligent. You're being abusive. Okay, time to cut. Time to cut her. Let her go. Because you're not fulfilling your obligations here that you said you would do. Period. That's why there are marriage contracts, right? Conjugal games. It is interesting to note that the husband is considered a rebellious one, a mored, even if he just swears off conjugal relations for a short period of time. He is a mored even if that period coincides with the wife's menstrual period when conjugal visitation is in any event proscribed. The point being driven home with this stricture is that one's body, one's very being, may never be used as a device to punish, deprive, or threaten the other. When the relationship reduces itself to that level, the exit door is open wide. A husband who insists on engaging in conjugal union with his clothes on is likewise considered a rebel, a mored. Even though he may be motivated by considerations of modesty, and he thus may argue that this is not spiteful deprivation, it is deprivation nevertheless. The wife who denies herself to her husband is considered a moredet, a rebellious wife, even if she claims that her locking the husband out of conjugal intimacy is because of the husband's debts incurred to her. Limitations, right? Under any circumstances, the wife does not have an obligation to submit to frequent conjugal union beyond the norm. She can never be reduced to chattel, to be used by the husband at his lustful whim. I hope y'all are hearing this. The wife is likewise not considered a moredet if she leaves the house because the husband has failed to live up to his maintenance responsibilities. In fact, in such an instance, the husband is considered to be the instigator. Additionally, if the wife leaves for other reasons, such as because of difficulties with her in-laws, then too, she is not labeled a moradette if she maintains her willingness to engage in conjugal union with her husband. The fact that she has left the premises does not necessarily mean that she has denied herself to her husband. With regard to the extraordinary situation and label of mored and moradette, the husband and wife are equal in that whatever legitimately removes from the one the label of rebel would accomplish the same for the other. Watch this. Can, but not obliged. Having spelled out the situations and grounds for which both husband and wife can demand a divorce, it bears repeating and re-emphasizing that simply because such reason or ground exists, this does not militate that either husband or wife should run to the divorce court, or more specifically to the Beit Din that supervises the granting of a get. What did I say? The Beit Din, the house of judgment, the court. The first reflex in situations like this is to address the issue, to carefully scratch below the surface to find out what exactly has triggered the overtly non-cooperative behavior of the spouses. When true love, respect, and appreciation prevail, neither husband nor wife will deny the self to the other or be derelict in the responsibilities to the other. The fact that they do so indicates there is something seriously wrong with the marriage. Because there is something seriously wrong with the marriage, the overriding impulse should be towards correcting that which is wrong. Radical surgery, only a last resort. I like that last line. Last resort. All right. We're going to go now to Sefaria.org. This is Mishnah Ketuvot, section 7 here. Mishnah Ketuvot, section 7. Right. This is backing up more of the information I was saying. That a wife could initiate a divorce. Right? Oh shoot, what'd I do? Lord, what'd I do? What'd I do? I exited out of it. Okay, so let me see. Let me go back here. Let me go back here. I wonder why it won't let me go back. Let's see. Let's go back to the source. Okay, there it go. There it go. Okay. There. There. All right, that was a hiccup on my part. Okay. Now, Mishnah Ketuvot, section 7, subsections 1 to 5, right? You can go see this Sefaria.org. Like I said, Mishnah Ketuvot. Ketuvot is the plural word of Ketuvah, remember, right? Okay. So, with regard to one who vows and obligates his wife, prohibiting her from benefiting from him or his property, if his vow will remain in effect for up to 30 days, he must appoint a trustee to support her. But if the vow will remain in effect for more than this amount of time, he must divorce her and give her the payment of her marriage contract. Rabbi Yehuda says, if the husband is an Israelite, then if his vow will remain in effect for up to 1 month, he may maintain her as his wife. And if it will be 2 months, he must divorce her and give her the payment of her marriage contract. But if he is a priest, then he is given extra time. Right? If the vow will remain in effect for up to 2 months, he may maintain her. And if it will be 3 months, he must divorce her and give her the payment of the marriage contract. It says the reason for this is that it is prohibited for a priest to marry a divorcee or divorcee, including his own ex-wife, and therefore if he divorces her and later regrets his decision, he will not be able to take her back, right? So this is protection. You have to take care of your wife. If they're seeing you're there, if the court is seeing you're abusing the time frame, you say you're vowing not to support your wife or take care of your wife, the court system, the Beit Din, says what? You must divorce. And the court system, the Beit Din, actually forces and demands. They have the legal wherewithal and the authority to say, hey, husband, file that paperwork, Deuteronomy 24, you file it, give that paper to the woman in her hand, and then send her away. Let her be another man.
But we also see the significance of the bill of divorcement. We also see the significance of the contract, the agreement, when they do agree to be married. We see the significance of it. And like I said, we're not making this up.
It's right here in front of you. And all this corroborates, or all this goes along and backs up what I just read from the article, that a wife can initiate. Right? All right, watch this. One who vows and obligates his wife, requiring her not to taste a particular type of produce, must divorce her and give her the payment of her marriage contract. Rabbi Yehuda says if he is an Israelite, then if the vow will remain in effect for 1 day, he may maintain her as his wife. But if it will be 2 days, he must divorce her and give her the payment of her marriage contract. And if this is the one, I'm reading y'all the woman's, these are the rights of the woman to demand. And the court system, the Beit Din, is saying, hey, all right, we listen to this woman. If you doing this, sir, time to write up that sefer. Time to write up that sefer of divorcement.
And let them know what are you reading from again. Let them know.
I'm reading from. This is the Mishnah. This is Mishnah Halakha. This is section Ketuvot from Sefaria.org. Yes, the woman can remarry. So I was saying, yeah, you pretty much would go back to the beginnings of this lesson. So remarriage is okay. Remarriage is okay as long as there is a lawful written bill of divorce. As long as there is a lawful written bill of divorce. And you are allowed to remarry, right? A lot of people think that, again, they think that Yeshua, Jesus, said that the only reason you can divorce is if somebody committed some adultery. No, that's not the only reason why it's allowed to divorce, right?
Yeah, to the sister in the comments,
Right.
If you go back to the beginning, after when you hear this, when it's archived and recorded, we went over that, sis. So it most definitely, yeah, we went over that. And hopefully what we share in this video is helpful to you and others who are also seeking. Not trying to force nothing down people's throat. We're just giving a perspective that is not common within this community we call Israel. You know what I'm saying? So this is something historically to look at. You know what I'm saying?
Right? Yeshua was saying, if there's no lawful union to begin with, yeah, you don't need a written document or certificate of divorce because the union was not legal in the first place. There you go.
Exactly.
Now, what this is saying is these are stipulations of when the woman can divorce the husband, when the woman can initiate the process to divorce the husband because he's not fulfilling his responsibilities that he's supposed to do. It's saying these are the stipulations here where it's saying the Beit Din, the court system, forces the husband to file that paperwork. Right? All right, so Rabbi Yehuda says if he is an Israelite, then if the vow will remain in effect for 1 day, he may maintain her as his wife. But if it will be 2 days, he must divorce her and give her the payment of her marriage contract. And if he is a priest, then if the vow will be in effect for 2 days, he may maintain her. For 3 days, he must divorce her and give her the payment of her marriage contract. All right?
Boy.
One who vows and obligates his wife, requiring her not to adorn herself with a particular type of perfume, must divorce her and give her the payment of her marriage contract. Rabbi Yosef says that one must distinguish between different types of women. For poor women, this applies only when he did not establish a set amount of time for the vow, and for wealthy women who are accustomed to adorning themselves more elaborately, if she is prohibited from doing so for 30 days, he must divorce her and give her the payment of her marriage contract. With regard to one who vows and obligates his wife not to go to her father's house when her father is with her in the same city, if the vow is to be in effect up to 1 month, he may maintain her as his wife. If the vow is for 2 months, he must divorce her and give her the payment of her marriage contract. And when her father is in a different city, if the vow is to be in effect until at most one pilgrim festival, for example, until the next pilgrim festival, he may maintain her as his wife. Although the wife often visits her parents during the festival, she is capable of refraining one time. For 3 festivals, however, he must divorce her and give her the payment of her marriage contract. I'm going to say something after that. I just read the subsection 4 and then subsection 5. I'm going to say something to add. Additionally, one who vows and obligates his wife not to go to a house of mourning to console the mourners or to a house of feasting for a wedding must divorce her and give her the payment of her marriage contract. Why is this so? Because it is as if he were locking a door in front of her. He's locking her up. Abuse. All this is abuse. Right? And if he claimed he did so due to something else, maybe he was protecting her from some sort of thing, right? Meaning he's concerned about inappropriate conduct there, he is permitted to do so. I understand. Don't we tell each other, hey, I don't know if you might want to go over there to that party. There's going to be certain people over there, you know how they get to acting when they get them beverages up in them. You know what I'm saying? I understand that. Right? If he said to her, the vow will be void on condition that you tell so-and-so what you told me or what I told you, or on condition that she fills something up and pour it into the refuse, he must divorce her and give her the payment of her marriage contract. The Gemara will explain all of these cases thoroughly. And you can go into the Gemara, which is in halakha.com. Right? There's also section, I think it's 9 and 10. Okay. In the case of a man who developed blemishes after marriage, the court does not force him to divorce his wife. Rabban Shimon ben Gamliel said, in what case is this statement said? It is said with regard to minor blemishes. However, with regard to major blemishes, which will be defined later in the Gemara, the court does force him to divorce her. The court, the Beit Din. And these are the defects for which the court forces him to divorce her. Remember, I said the court system has the legal authority, the wherewithal, the right to force that husband to divorce. There is always a just due judicial process in Israel. I want y'all to know that. I can't express that enough. So these are the defects for which the court forces him to divorce her. One afflicted with boils, or one who has a polyp, or one who works as a gatherer, or one who works as a melter of copper, or one who works as a tanner of hides, all of whose work involves handling foul-smelling materials. Remember, all this goes back to the article I read, Can a Woman Initiate Divorce? From Chabad.org, which came from this book. All of this I'm reading goes with this. And I'm going to read some more that goes with this as well, right? Whether he had these defects before they got married or whether they developed after they got married, the court forces them to divorce. And with regard to all of these, Rabbi Meir said, even though he stipulated with her ahead of time that he suffers from this particular ailment or this is his line of work, she can nevertheless demand a divorce and say, I thought I could accept this issue, but now I realize I cannot accept it. And the rabbis say, if she initially agreed, she must accept it against her will, apart from a situation in which her husband is afflicted with boils. I'm going to say something in a minute. In that case, the rabbis concede that he must divorce her because the disease consumes his flesh when they engage in marital relations. The Mishnah relates an additional account. An incident occurred in Sidon involving a certain tanner who died childless, and he had a brother who was also a tanner. This brother was required to enter into levirate marriage with the widow. The sages said she can say, I could accept living with a tanner for your brother, but I cannot accept it for you, and therefore he must perform halizah with her. Out, right? So, also, if they do engage in some sort of sexual thing, if this happens, if he's diseased with certain blemishes, then it could affect her. It could weaken her. Now, a lot of the times, a lot of these boils and like leprosy, things like that, they come as a result of some sort of social misbehavior or conduct, right? Remember when Miriam was struck with leprosy, right? Because she was gossiping, slandering, right? Inappropriate behavior. That's what they're likening this to. Inappropriate behavior that flows to the physical, that manifests itself in the physical. Right? Now, we're going to go to Safaria.org again. This is from Even Ha'ezer Shulchan Aruch. So, this is pretty much Shulchan Aruch is called the set table. It's the code of laws. Even Ha'ezer is pretty much the stone or the foundation, that pretty much helps or sustains, right? So these are codifications in the law that go along with what's been said. Like these are the reasonable rights that people can dissolve their marriage, especially when a woman can initiate, right? So this is Siman 154. Siman 154. All right. What was a Siman again? Like a Siman is like a sign or a mark. So these are the signs and the marks. Sign and the marks, the notations pretty much that go along with stating or solidifying when a woman can initiate a divorce. So it's not only for a woman; these are for men too, right? But different Siman numbers for those. But we're talking about can Israelite women initiate divorce, right? Okay. So Shulchan Aruch Even Ha'ezer 154. These are the reasons we force him to divorce her and to give her the ketuvah. One who develops bad breath of the mouth or nose, or goes back to become a collector of dog feces, or a tanner, or to a scraper of copper from its source, for example, a miner. If she wants, she can stay with her husband. So Ramah, this is Rabbi Moses Isserles, right? Rabbi Moses Isserles. He says this. His name is abbreviated as REM, um, colon. There's this quotation marks A, right? That's what his name is abbreviated as. Rabbi Moses, right? It says, and if she knew about this problem before she was married, we do not force him to divorce her, for she understood and accepted it. This is Torah in the name of the Ramah. Excuse me. Drinking all this water. Good grief. Okay. If the man becomes afflicted with boils, we force him to divorce her and to give her the ketuvah, even if she wants to stay with him, right? So Ramah says, or even if she stipulated that she knew about this, we don't listen to her. Rather, we make them separate against their will, for she exacerbates his condition if they have sex. Yes, you can make somebody sick if you engage with them, right? You're exchanging all that bodily fluid, right? And if she says, I will stay with him with witnesses about so that he does not have sex with me because they are around, we listen to her. So this is Rabbi Moses Isserlis again. Some say that if he becomes an apostate, right, he's leaving the faith altogether, we force him to divorce her through non-Jews, right? So in parentheses it says that's Bet Yosef Siman 134, the name of the I forget this rabbi's name because this is a abbreviation of something too. And the Mordecai Perek Hamagaresh. These are writings or other witnesses, other documented witnesses, right? Writings. So says some say that if he becomes an apostate, we force him to divorce her through non-Jews as long as he voids it at the time of the bill of divorce. All right. Some argue and say that we do not force an apostate to divorce or any transgressor against the faith unless he makes her transgress, for example, feeding her prohibited food, or he violates a promise that he made upon himself that he would not tease her or hit her, or he makes a promise and he does not fulfill it, for sons die as a result of sins of violating vows. All right. One who pimps prostitutes and his wife complains about it, if there are witnesses and they see him with adulterers or he admits, some say we force him to divorce her. But we do not suspect he caused the bringing of Gentile children, for perhaps they are lying about him, right? All right. If a woman has a husband with bad breath of the mouth or nose, or he collected dog feces or the like, and he died childless, causing his wife to be obligated to fulfill the mitzvah of either yibum or chalitza, right? That's the levirate marriage, right? That's the levirate marriage. If the yavam, the brother, the brother who's next to take it, right? Who's next to take the wife? If the yavam has the same blemish of his brother, she can say, with your brother, I could accept this. With you, I am not willing to accept this. He does chalitza and gives her ketuvah worth, right? If someone says, I will not give food nor provide for my wife, we force him to give food. And if the court cannot force him to give food, such as one who doesn't have anything to provide and doesn't want to make money to become profitable and provide food that way, if she wants, we force him to divorce her immediately and give her ketuvah, right? The law is such to someone who does not want to have sex. So Rabbi Moses Isserlis, this is him saying now. Similarly, a man who gets angry often. Watch this, you guys, right? Watch this. A man who gets angry often and consistently kicks out his wife from his house, we force him to divorce her. For because of this, he will not provide food for her sometimes. And he will separate from her from sexual relations more times than her rights to conjugal relations. And that is like refusal to provide food and sex, which are grounds for divorce, right? Another witness to that, Teshuvat Harashba Siman 693, supplement to this, right? And it says, and see earlier Siman 70 and Siman 77. That supplement what's being said here, right? Watch this. A man who hits his wife has a transgression in his hand as much as striking his fellow. If he does this often, the court had the right to cause him pain and to excommunicate him, to whip him, to use all types of force, and to make him swear he will not do it again. And if he does not obey the court, some say we force him to divorce her, as long as he is warned one or twice, for it is not the way of Jews to hit their wives. That is the actions of the Gentiles. The actions of the nations. Right? So hitting your wife. That's not the way of the Jews or the Israelites, right? That's the way of the nations. This only applies when he starts it. But if she curses him for no reason or mocks his father and mother and she contradicts what he says and he has no authority over her, some say it is permitted to hit her. And some say that a bad wife is also prohibited to strike. The first opinion, watch this though. The first opinion is the essential one. If it is not known who started it, the husband is not believed to say that she started it, for all women are assumed kosher. And they place others among them to see who is the bad one. And if she curses him for no reason, she is divorced without her ketuvah. And it seems to me that this is only when this happens often and after warning, as was explained earlier in Siman 115. So you can go back and look at Siman 115. Right? These are all evidences you guys can go see for yourself. If she left his house and borrowed money and ate food, if she left because of him hitting her so often, he must pay her back. All of this note can be found in the Mordecai Perek Nara, in the name of the Mohar, and Siman 88. So this is another writing there. This is another person who's doing the writing there, Siman 88. And as is explained earlier, Siman 70. Right? So let me see. This so the law is such to someone who does not want to pretty much have sex, right? A man who becomes blemished after his marriage, even if his hand is amputated or his eyes become blinded, we don't force him to divorce his wife and give her ketuvah. Rather, if she wants, she can remain, and if not, then her law is like a rebellious wife. Haga. There are those who say this law only applies if one of his hands or feet is amputated or one eye is blinded, but in a case where he loses both, he must divorce his wife because they're saying he's of no use. He can't really provide to her anything, That's what they're saying. They're saying, hey, divorce so this wife can go be with somebody who has all the capabilities of their limbs so they can provide for her, right? Right. All right. Watch this. This is really nice. All right. A man who behaves in an uncontrolled fashion, literally as a shote. A shote is they say it's a fool, someone who acts uncontrollably, just acts any old kind of way, just has no couth, right? Just out of his mind, just lost his mind, right? So a man who behaves in an uncontrolled fashion, a shote, on a daily basis, and his wife says, my father, because of his downtrodden financial circumstances, married me to him, and I thought I could tolerate it, but it is impossible to me because he is crazy, and I fear he will kill me in his anger. We do not force him to divorce. For we only force divorce in those cases listed by our sages. Right? But watch this. See, they're saying the stipulations. You know what I mean? Oh yeah, my father told me to marry him because of financial situations. He's just out of his mind. He just be talking crazy sometimes. That's not enough. That's what they're saying. I can understand. Right? I know some of us talk crazy sometimes. You know what I mean? And when we talk crazy sometimes, that this only lasts for a hot second or a hot minute. You know what I mean? All right. So Ramah says an epileptic, some say that it is not a blemish and we do not force him to divorce. On the other hand, we do not force her to be with him since she has a reasonable claim. This is what the Mordecai chapter, Hamadir in the name of Ravia. Right? Some say that it is a blemish in a man and we force him to divorce. Right? All this has to be determined by the court system, the Beit Din, a just due judicial process. We got to weigh all out the evidences, right? Y'all know about court. All right. If a woman demanded a divorce because she cannot produce children with this man, we so not listen to her. If she demands a divorce because she wants a son to lean on in her old age, and she does not yet have any son. And she says that he is the cause of the infertility because he cannot ejaculate with force. If she has lived with him for 10 years and she has not become pregnant and she does not demand her ketuvah, such that we should have reason to suspect that she is only demanding to divorce to collect the ketubah, and there is also no other reason that she might be demanding the divorce, we do listen to her. Even if he has children from another woman, or perhaps his physical state deteriorated later. We force him to divorce her and give the primary 100 or 200 of the ketubah, but not any additions. He must also return the dowry that she brought into the marriage. He should issue a generic ban against the fact that she is making a claim without certain knowledge, and then he must give her the ketuvah. If he said, I will marry another woman and inspect myself, we listen to him. So he's pretty much going, I'm going to marry another woman, and this will prove if I'm sterile or not, right? So I will marry another woman and inspect myself. We listen to him. If the second woman becomes pregnant, the first is divorced without a ketuvah. If she does not become pregnant, the second woman, both women must be divorced and given their ketuvah, or he can marry a third woman if he can afford to support them. Some authorities say that if the second woman also said that he cannot ejaculate with force, he must divorce both and give the ketuvah. In all cases, if it is known that he is sterile and she comes with this demand, he must divorce immediately. So, Ramah, Rabbi Moses Israelis, right? What does he say? The same applies if they were married for 10 years with no children and she comes with this claim. We then force him to divorce and give the ketuvah. In that case, it will not help for him to say, I will inspect myself with another woman, because the first will still not lose her ketuvah since she has not been inspected with 3 men and found barren. Right? The rule that she must claim that he cannot ejaculate with force is only if we know that he already had children, for we then assume that the infertility is from her unless she makes the claim that he cannot ejaculate with force, or if this is her third husband, such that it is already established that she is infertile. Though appears to be the view of the Torah, and it is from the conclusions of the Tosafot and the Hagaot Ashri. If she says that he has erectile dysfunction and cannot have intercourse with her, and she requests a divorce and he contradicts her, some authorities say that she is believed. So Ramah, even if they have not been married for 10 years, and we force him to divorce her immediately, though he does not give her the ketuvah. You got something to say, BA? Oh, this is interesting, right?
It's very interesting. It's in the
right?
Mishnah. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And, but you see here, even though a lot of the Mishnah we don't agree with, but you see they're being reasonable here. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, it's just to hear all this. This is my first time hearing a lot of this stuff. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, really. Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. So if he divorced her without being coerced, he must give her the ketuvah. Rabbi Moses Israelis, some authorities say that even though he can have intercourse with another woman, he still must give this woman her ketuvah. Since he cannot have intercourse with her, she can say, I have given myself to you. What more can I do for you? When is this the case? When she does not demand the ketuvah. If, however, she demands the ketuvah, she is not believed, and we do not even force him to divorce. So remember, there's the just due court process here. The Bet Dean has the right, the legal authority, the wherewithal to force the divorce. And what does the man do? What does the husband have to do? He's the one who has to do the paperwork. That's what Deuteronomy 24 verses 1 to 4 mean. He has to do the paperwork. Okay. Block that person. Time out. All right. All right. Some authorities say that these days, when some women are impudent, she is not believed. Nevertheless, if there are reasons to suspect or circumstantial evidence that she is telling the truth, she is believed. If we suspect that he cannot have intercourse with her because she has a narrow womb and she is a virgin, or that he cannot have intercourse with her because he is aged or weak, we rely on this. We do not force him to divorce her. Some authorities say that even in cases where we do not force him to divorce, we still do not force her to make peace with him, and we do not consider her to be a rebellious wife, right? Remember that word, mortadet, right? Instead, we allow time to pass such that they either make peace or wait 10 years without children. The same applies if he betrothed a woman and she may not marry him or another, he must divorce her, right? If she claims that if she claims that her husband refuses to lie with her or have intercourse with her, it is judged as if she said he had erectile dysfunction.
Damn. Damn.
Right?
Wow.
Oh my gosh, man. Okay. If it is known that a man intends to travel to another country, we make him take an oath that he will not go, or we force him to issue a time-bound divorce before he leaves. Right? He just gonna go away, right? If it's known that he cannot stay in the place that he married because of some mortal danger, we force him to divorce. Right? All this is protection against abuse. You can't make this man stay in mortal danger, right? Got a divorce.
The same thing with the woman. You can't make her
Right,
stay in danger either.
right,
It goes both ways. You know what I'm saying?
right.
So very interesting, man. I'm gonna have to start going to my mission a little bit more on this one.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
this is the
Yeah.
Shulchan Aruch. This is also the supplement to the Mishnah. It's outside of it, but it's a supplement to it, right? So next next it goes into also the stipulations where a man is forced to say, forced by the court to say, you know what, I'm out. You know, if he can show certain things, you know, he could say he's out, right? And it just continues to go on for these, right? So with that being said, I believe we're done. I know this was long. This was long, but yeah. So Rabbi Moses Israelis is a posek. He's an expert in the Israelite or Jewish law, right? And so that's who he is. So this was some good stuff. And the Mishnah Ketuvot you can go see on your own too. So, um, I really hope I answered the question. Can an Israelite woman initiate divorce? I thought I was sharing us the whole time. I thought I was sharing my screen the whole time, but I kind of messed up. But it's okay. So let me show y'all what I was reading real quick. All right. So this is the article here I was reading from the book. It's called Jewish Divorce Ethics. This is the article you from the book that you can find online, Chabad.org. I'm gonna put it in the chat. All right, and the Mishnah Ketuvot 7, starting from section 1, subsection 1 to subsection 5, and then subsection 9 and 10. It shows all of the stipulations for which a woman, the wife, can initiate or begin the process. Right? She's just the one who does not have to do the paperwork. The man does. The husband has to do the paperwork. The man has to do the paperwork. That's what Deuteronomy 24 says. That's what Deuteronomy 24 means. Right? So I'm going to share this. I'm going to share this in the chat as well. You can go to it yourself. right? And this was the Shulchan Aruch, Even HaAzer. I probably did not show this on the screen the majority of the time, but you can go back and read this for yourself, right? Shulchan Aruch, Even HaAzer 154, right? The precious stone of helping, right? These go along with the code of laws here. So, can an Israelite woman initiate divorce? Can she begin the process? Yes. Yes. We saw in the marriage contract or the ketuvah, it's written in there that the woman can stand up in the congregation or the assembly or the in front of the witnesses and start this process verbally. She can start this process. Say, hey, the husband is not fulfilling certain things of the contract, the ketuvah, and the court system is going to go ahead and start examining things, taking a look at it, investigating. They're going to start vetting and investigating. And if they find out certain things that he was doing that he was not supposed to do, they're going to say, hey, husband, file up the paperwork, write this Sefer Kedetut, write this Sefer Kedetut, give it to this woman, and let her go free to be another man's wife. And in America, guess what? The civil laws of the land, of course, say yeah. The man or the woman can initiate, file the paperwork, initiate divorce. So please don't let some of these ignorant brewlights that try to tell y'all women that y'all can't initiate a divorce. Stop. Like Brother Josh from ABT be saying, they be playing games. Do not let them play games with y'all. Do not let them play games with y'all. Do not.
Yeah. And like I said earlier, once before, everything that's brought out, we have the sources. You know what I'm saying? We share them. Sis just posted a lot of the sources in the chat on the Debate Talk for You channel. Like I said, if there's more information you guys would like, one book is called Jewish Divorce Ethics: The Right Way to Say Goodbye by Rabbi Reuven P. Boca. You know what I'm saying? If you would like to have a physical copy of the Mishnah, this is by Jacob Neusner. You know what I'm saying? Of course, he didn't write it. Of course, the Mishnah was already something that the Israelite ancestors had pretty much came up with. He's just a guy who just translated it, pretty much. But and Most High willing, man, this information goes to those who need to hear it. We don't mind discussing things and talking things over. We've done it off the record with plenty of brothers and sisters in the past. I'm pretty sure as this lesson goes out, there'll be a lot of opposition towards it, and that's fine. We don't mind talking about a few things. But like I always say, for those who oppose this, make sure you're watching the whole video. And another thing, before you reach out to us, trying to challenge us behind closed doors or have something in private, please vet the information that has been shared and bring some sources that refute ours. I don't want to hear any personal interpretation. We don't want to hear how your feelings are hurt. We don't want to hear anything else. Like I always say, we're always claiming scholarship. We're always claiming to be students. Prove that to us that you're a student and you have scholarship. That's all we're asking. No ad homs, no attacks. Just deal with the information. You don't have to like it, but deal with it. And if you're so correct or you're in the truth like you claim you are, please bring us some information to substantiate your claims instead of trying to force it with your god-awful eisegesis. Please. Bring sources. I keep saying that, and for some reason, sources are never convenient. They're not convenient, especially when you have an ideology or a doctrine to protect. I see it on social media all the time, whether it be Facebook, Instagram, or Clubhouse. A lot of this, a lot of talking, but you guys never bring nothing to the table. It's just talk, 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 and more talking. And with that, sis, I don't have to say much. I'm done.
Yeah, my apologies again for not showing directly on the screen the resources I was reading, because that's what I want to do all the time. I don't know. I was just so focused on the front, and I don't know. I gotta tell BA, hey BA, make sure I'm sharing the source in front of you, brother. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I gotta tell my bro BA, hey, make sure you look out for your sis and be like, yo, sis, you not sharing the screen. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But
And
it's
there's
all good,
another
you know.
source that we cited earlier. It's called the Halakha of Jesus Christ in the book of Matthew. That's what led us to the Aramaic, to the source with the marriage contract. You know what I'm saying? So if there are people who are looking for that, just reach out to me at Ashanti and we'll send you that source. You can find it on Script D, or is that Script B? I get it mixed up.
SCRIBD.
Yeah,
So
B. So B.
SCRIB as in boy and then D as in dog. Script D.
Yeah, so Script D. So that is also a good platform, a good app to have when you're looking for different books to read and do historical research. I have Kindle. You know what I'm saying? I like Kindle as well. Um, so like I said, everything that we share with you guys, we can go improve our points. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to like it. That's fine. And we're not here to force nothing on anyone. We're here to give you a perspective. Look at a different perspective that you may not be used to seeing, or maybe not be at you're not used to looking at. You know what I'm saying? We're just provoking thought. That's all we're doing. Look at it, examine it, take your time with it. Don't use it to debate somebody on the internet, because a lot of this information is not meant for debate. There are some things that you can debate, but a lot of this information, man, is pretty much for people in their walk. You know what I'm saying? Everything is not based on entertainment and showmanship on Clubhouse. That's not what this is. This is
Right.
for those who are truly seeking and walking the path, walking that
Right.
narrow path that the Master Yeshua talked about. The narrow path will lead you to salvation, and the broad gates will lead you to destruction. So we're just here to share things that we have looked into. Sis does a lot of studying prior to letting me know. You know, she'll look at something, then she'll share the sources with me. I'll go look at the stuff to clarify myself and do a little bit of reading. I just got this book recently and I've been going right through it. I confirm everything she shared out of it. You know what I'm saying? Um, Also, with this mission of the oral traditions and other Jewish or Israelite sources, we have access to those things. So we're not just blowing this out of thin air, out of air, out, just blowing it out of anywhere. We actually can give you where we get this stuff from. That's the point that we're making here. We're not making this up. We can actually show you where we're getting it from to substantiate the claims that we're making. You know what I'm saying? Nothing personal. Um, no ideology, no doctrines. We're just dealing with the information. That's it. Nothing more, nothing less. We're just sharing information. You don't have to agree with this, but this is why we stand on this. Information only. If you want to contact us and reach out and talk, yeah, we could do that. But we're only going to do it if you have information or sources to link up with ours that refute ours. We're
Right.
open to looking at other stuff. You know, we're open to it. That's what we do. We like to research here. So if you want to rock and you want to share some other things that we need to consider, we're open to that. But we don't want to hear no extra, oh, well, that's a sister teaching and we can't. No, we don't want to hear that anymore. We're tired of that now. You guys are garbage and that's weak. Come with some information, please. We'll just ignore you and block you and just act like you don't exist if you're going to come with that folly. It's that simple.
Tell him, BA.
Yeah, we don't, and all the ad homs and the attacks, we don't, look, we're grown adults here. You know what I'm saying? We don't have time to deal with that. For those who feel threatened or attacked at the fact that there's a sister teaching and there's a brother that backs her up, grow up.
Mm.
Seriously, grow the hell up. We're seriously. I don't have to say much anymore. Sis, you can go ahead and close out, and we call it a day.
Thank you, BA. Hey, that needed to be said. Put it down. Put the smack down. But shalom again to our y'all. Shalom again to faithful sister and y'all. Thank y'all for joining in. Hey, BA, Brother Anonymous said he ain't gonna front. Some of this might pop up in a debate. In a debate, he said,
Hey,
"I'm
that's
just saying."
cool. Hey,
Yeah.
if they want to do that, let's deal with it. But like I
Yep.
said, if we're gonna deal with it, we need to see sources.
Yep.
We just see, so that's all we're asking. It don't have to necessarily be a debate with me. You could just reach out to me personally and just show me here, BA, look at this. Oh, sis, look at this. Let's examine it. You know what I'm saying? But if brothers and sisters want to get down in a debate, I have no interest in it. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't. A debate's not going to make or break me. You know what I'm saying? So, but if that's what brothers want to do, let's talk about it. Let's have a discourse. Let's have a civil conversation about the sources.
Right.
I don't want to hear your ideology that you got from your elders in the camp. I don't want to hear that anymore.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? We need to see actual valid sources.
Yep.
The Bible is our main source, and we're using history to confirm the Bible. That's what we're doing here. But
Yep.
for some reason, people don't want to do that anymore. Why? Because it's not convenient for your little internet doctrines you guys teach. Go for the Christians too. Go for the Christians too. You know what I'm saying? A few weeks ago, we did something about the traditions looking at Christianity from a historical perspective, and I have yet to see anyone refute that information. They don't want to because they don't want to deal with it. Because the stuff is actually the information we share. We ask, we'll bring it out, prove us wrong. And a lot of things we bring out when it comes to Christian sources or information about Christendom historically, this stuff is coming from Christians. Christians. Not us. We didn't make it up. Not Israelites, not Jews. Christians are sharing this stuff. So don't get mad at us for going into the information and sorting through it and looking into it.
Right.
Get mad at your Christian brothers and sisters who share this stuff. Get mad at your...
BA is saying, hold on real quick, BA. Sorry, Saliha. Anon was saying, he was agreeing with you. But Anon, check this out. BA is agreeing with you. He's agreeing with you. So he's saying, BA is saying to the people who tried to debate against this, yes, bring some sources. But he's saying, BA is also saying, hey, yeah, take this to a debate, use it to your own, use it to your own discretion to tell these people, hey, a woman can initiate, an Israelite woman can initiate divorce. You know what I'm saying? That's what he was saying. Anon.
Yeah, no, I'm not
agreeing with you. He was saying, you use this. He was saying, go ahead and use this
go
in a
ahead.
debate.
Yeah,
just
do that.
Don't let these people try to refute you with some rhetoric. You know what I mean? That's what he's saying.
Yeah, like if I'm not going against anonymous. That's that's what you do. I ain't tripping off that. That I wasn't addressing that. I'm more so speaking from an overall perspective. You know what I'm saying? For other people who just want to don't they want to refute but don't want to actually deal with the information. They just want to run their mouth and talk all day. Nah, we ain't got time for that no more. Well, no, man. You know what I'm saying? I mean that's why I respect brothers like Ron Divine and various other brothers and other sisters who bring out the information. Stop getting your feelings hurt and getting all walking around with a twisted face and getting all mad because someone refuted your doctrine. You know what I'm saying? I mean, man, it's seriously like I don't know, man. Me personally, I just find it very fruitless to continuously go back and forth with the same people. I just find it very fruitless, especially when these people don't never bring nothing to the table.
Right. That goes for everyone who's listening now and going to listen later. Please stop going back and forth with people who don't want to have civil reasoning. It's a fruitless conversation. Because if we're giving you hands down, irrefutable information directly in front of you, right? Take this in your arsenal, use it. This will help you give. This will help give you some resolve that you don't need to go and try to win an argument with somebody. You can't win an argument with a person who doesn't want to have a reasonable civil conversation when you're bringing this stuff, when you know this stuff. Stop talking to religious nutcases and flunkies who refuse to go learn how to get skilled in reading comprehension. Look. This is the source I just read.
It up for me. It sums it up.
A man who hits his wife has a transgression in his hand, as much as striking his fellow. If he does this often, the court had the right to cause him pain and to excommunicate him, to whip him, use all types of force, and make him swear he will not do it again. If he does not obey the court, guess what? Some say we force him to divorce her, as long as he is warned once or twice, right? For it's not the way of the Jews to hit their wives. That's the actions of the Gentiles.
Hey.
Right? Come on. This stuff is right in front of you. This stuff is right in front of you of what's happening here. So stop arguing with a religious nutcase who refused to have some reading comprehension to understand what that just said.
And Israel always talk about they're nothing like the heathen.
Right. Israel always talk about they nothing like the heathen.
So hey, if you're not like the heathen, because you know the heathen, they're so evil and they're so wicked and they're so all this, then you shouldn't be putting your hands on your wife. You shouldn't have a problem with this at all. You shouldn't have a problem with it.
At all.
You know what I'm saying? But like we always say, I always hear this same rhetoric. We need to come back to our culture and our traditions and know our history. We're pointing it out to you.
We pointing it all the way
it's
out.
not comforting. It's not comforting to deal with this stuff now. Because maybe some of y'all find yourselves on the other end of it doing the opposite of what your ancestors did.
Right.
That's why it's not convenient to go to these sources. That's why it's not convenient. You know what I'm saying? Maybe we need to just continuously do stuff like this, like the hate for the nations. Where did that come from? I got a source right here proving this is where you got it from.
You got it from your ancestors.
Exactly. You want to understand? You want to know how your ancestors truly live and how they truly thought and how they socially lived amongst each other? You either want to deal with it or not.
That's right. That's right. Look, Proverbs 3:31. Envy not thou the oppressor. Choose none of his ways. See, we had justice in Israel. Justice. This is righteousness and justice in Israel. Shalom, Sister Brandy, again. Yeah. Because guess what? Again, we are the temple. We are the temple. If we're responsible for taking care of the temple, then we have to make sure it is kept safe. And anyone who will put the temple in harm's or danger's way is in violation of Torah, because we have to keep it safe. All right. I know we went on for a long time, but that's the end of it. I'm gonna say the priestly Aaronic blessing to close us out. But thank you for those who are listening now, who are listening later. I hope this has been edifying. I hope this is liberating. Right? Take this, share it, and I hope this gives you your spirit, your being resolve for those who needed it. Right? For those who needed it. Don't let anyone abuse you, and don't let anyone tell you you have to stay in an abusive relationship, whether you're a man or a woman. Do not let them try to tell you the Bible says you have to be in an unbearable, abusive relationship. No, that is not Torah, and that is not the way of the Most High. All right? So with that being said, we're on Debate Talk for you. We're on 916 Shan. We're on Shan-DoC Facebook channel. All right? That's what we're on. So please like, subscribe, and share. I love y'all. I love y'all with the love of the Most High. All right. Priestly Aaronic blessing. Yaverechacha Yahweh v'rishmerecha. Ya'er Yahweh panav elecha v'chuneka. Yisa Yahweh panav elecha v'yasem lacha shalom. May Yahweh bless you and keep you. May Yahweh make his face shine on you and show you favor. May Yahweh lift up his face towards you. That means accept you. And may Yahweh give you peace. Shalom. All right. Ko tehelim ko kabo wa hatiferech le Yahweh Avinu Eloheinu. Shalom, y'all. We'll see y'all next time on Torah Tittles of the text.